What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the internet where your cesspool is my jacuzzi. My name is Lauren Neidigh, and I have my guest Bruce from Oregon here. Bruce is a regular star on my channel, so you guys will get to know Bruce if you haven't already, which most people watching this have. So, just before we get started,
I've got a star on the Cesspool Walk of Fame.
It's true. It's true. It's more of a pool tile than a star, but whatever.
That's fine. I'll take what I can get.
Just a reminder before we get started, I am not a lawyer, and there are many law tubers covering this case that are doing a great job, and many members of the mainstream media or people who have connections to mainstream media who have teams doing research on this kind of stuff. So if you're watching my channel, what you're going to get is like a regular person doing, a normal conversation. So everyone be gentle with me. People are very strongly opinionated on this case, and like sometimes I don't have the resources to have someone go and look everything up and put it into these comments for me. So I'm like, everybody just like,
now, Your Honor, I object to the characterization that we are regular humans. I don't know about that.
Well, no, but you know what I mean. Like, regular's not the right word at all. But I don't know what else. What other word can I use? I don't have an army. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
So yeah.
We're doing our best.
We got to we got through page 68 of this. So there's 100 pages left to go in this document for the amended lawsuit, where they entered like a timeline of evidence. And we're going to pick up from where we left off, which was right here. So we read through here. We were talking about, let's see, the producer was reaching out to Blake, requesting them to jump on a call to talk about time-sensitive things. Blake's not available this week to speak with Justin and the producer, and ultimately didn't speak to Justin directly about her demands. As we get on during this evidence document, I've heard we're going to see, and I did actually like scroll down to look this up, we're going to see the demanded apology letter that was drafted by Ryan and Blake that they wanted Justin to put out. And it's just kind of crazy. So there's a lot going on here, but this is when they've started to kind of do the hostile takeover, from this account of it, at least. Obviously, I haven't seen Blake's team putting out anything in response to this because it was just filed late Friday night. So, and they have,
correct me if I'm wrong, but at this point in the timeline, we have a new producer, we have new editors, we have all sorts of things are going on.
Yeah, the AD had gotten fired. So, continually counting chickens. Hey, what's up? How's it going? Thanks everyone for being here, by the way, and thank you, mods. Okay, so time-sensitive things. She's not available, and she didn't end up speaking to him about her demands at all. That's awkward, but okay. Faced with yet another unprecedented demand from Lively to edit the film on her own with her own editor, Wayfarer finds itself with no choice but to assent. Yet again, Wayfarer is forced to balance the need to keep the production on track with managing Lively's increasingly audacious requests. Wayfarer reluctantly agrees to grant Lively 10 days in the editing room with her personal editor, with the understanding that her ideas will ultimately be incorporated into Baldoni's director's cut. This concession reflects Wayfarer's continued effort to maintain progress while navigating an exceptionally challenging situation. With each ask, Lively makes it plainly known that if she is not given what she wants, she will not promote the film at all. So it's kind of like
it's so crazy, like,
right. Well, it's kind of like they've gotten their hooks in to the point where it's like, you do this or else. Basically, I'll do something that'll like kind of kill the movie. I mean, they could do like promotion without her, but that would look really bad. And then ultimately, it would just end up with her probably in the press saying all this bad stuff about the film and the director and the, all that. Justin.
Yeah.
So
I mean, from a procedural perspective, as a management organization, getting to this point in a big project and not having a protection against this kind of threat or intimidation just blows my mind. I don't know how this works. I mean, I think in these movies, it's really been this way for a long time because you'll hear stories. Like I remember when David Lynch directed his version of Dune, he was so unhappy with the final studio changes to his edit that they actually released the movie saying it was directed by Alan Smithy. And Alan Smithy is a common name they use in Hollywood when you want to remove someone's name because you don't want to be associated with something.
Oh, so he didn't want his name on it.
Yeah, and later they did like, okay, here's the director's cut. And everybody's like, well, we know it's David Lynch. I mean, everybody knows. But and then in another case, the studio, when David Lynch directed The Elephant Man, the studio wanted to go in and make suggested notes to change the editing of the film. And one of the executive producers, who happened to be Mel Brooks, who didn't put his name on it because he didn't want the movie associated with comedy, right? Because it was a serious film. Basically told them to go, eat rocks or kick rocks or whatever the phrase is.
Wait, who says to eat rocks? That's awesome.
Kick rocks or I don't know.
It's gotta hurt your teeth, bro.
But basically, he had David Lynch's back, and I mean, it seems like this is how they do things with this intimidating sort of style, as opposed to a methodical process, which I find just sort of fascinating.
Yeah, I've actually never seen the Dune movie that you mentioned. I've never seen it. So, and I know I saw a lot of the press around Dune Part 2 and stuff like that. And I know, was it Timothée Chalamet that hosted SNL after that movie was, coming out? Yeah. So like I've seen the stuff around it, but I never actually watched the movie.
I would say watch the new Dune movies. And then if you enjoy it, go back and watch the David Lynch film, because it'll give you some insight into what they could do with movies back then, because that was like 1984 or something. Like, it was in the 80s. The technology wasn't amazing, and it was interesting. It's an interesting comparison.
Gotcha. All right. Let's see. April 17th, 2024, Sony Marketing and Baldoni coordinate efforts to have Baldoni attend Book Bonanza and show audiences a surprise early screening of the film. So they were doing and I don't know what goes on behind the scenes as far as publicity for a film goes, but it sounds like they were planning some cool stuff. I don't know if it didn't sound like it actually went the way they were planning it, but the stuff they had in mind was pretty cool. Let's see. Hey, Justin and Jamie, and this is from Sony Marketing. We heard that you love the idea of trying to screen the movie at Book Bonanza. We love it too. I think the key would be getting Redacted on board early so that we can work out the details. Are you going to talk to her today? If not, I have a call set with her tomorrow, and I'm happy to pitch it. Thank you. Justin says, yep, I'll call her today. And then Justin also says she's on board. She's going to have her event person join the meeting with you tomorrow to talk through logistics. Okay.
Do you think that's the book author they're talking about? Probably.
I don't know. They probably wouldn't have redacted her name, because I feel like it's come up.
Oh, really?
In the lawsuit. Yeah, so I don't think they would have redacted her name. I'm not sure what it is.
Maybe that's somebody that works there. Okay.
Yeah, could be. I know at least one of the redacted names is Taylor Swift, but that's about it.
I mean,
yeah.
I think we can figure that one out.
Yeah. April 18th, in a group text involving an A-list producer, a Sony executive, Baldoni, and Heath, the team discusses the possibility of sending Baldoni's editor to New York, since Lively's preferred editor was not available. Well, that shouldn't even matter, but the fact that, okay. Heath emphasizes the importance of clarifying that while Baldoni had agreed to allow her into the editing process, it should not, under any circumstances, be interpreted as his endorsement of the idea. Baldoni's agreement was purely a concession to move forward, not a reflection of his confidence in or approval of the decision. Right, and then we have a text from the A-list producer. It says, okay, think she wants the editor in New York now. Also, Justin says, I am okay sending her to New York. Jamie and I are talking soon. Producer says, okay. Then Jamie Heath says, okay, Redacted, please convey to Blake and her team that Redacted will go to New York and that Justin has agreed to it. Let's stay away from any sort of color that suggests that he thinks this is a good idea. Anything of that nature, just rather Justin has agreed to it. As we all know, we hate this whole thing, but as Justin continues to find a path forward, he is agreeing to it.
This is so amazing to me, because where I worked, we had this concept called disagree and commit, where basically, if an upper level manager makes a decision, we're going to use tool A instead of tool B for our project, for example. The idea is that you may disagree with that decision, but once the decision is made and set in stone by an authority who is the person entitled to make that decision, then you just say, okay, I'm committed to making the project successful, and that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And you don't sit there and just complain about it for the entire project, right? Because that doesn't help anything.
No, definitely not.
The amazing thing about this project is that it's very unclear to me who is responsible for any given decision. And if that's the case, then it's very hard to implement a system like disagree and commit
Mhm.
or agree to disagree, as
Yeah.
Sarah points out. And that's what I feel is going on here. So it's just a very tough situation.
Mm. All right, let's see. What do these texts say? Below are texts between Baldoni's editors discussing whether to have one editor fly to New York and work with Lively in person or remotely. Ultimately, it's decided to fly the editor out. As the editor stated, I want Blake to feel like she's getting what she wants so we can move on from this Neidigh first. Okay. And these are the texts that show that. So it's saying Blake wants to know when you could be there next week. The editor says I can fly on Sunday or Monday. We could push for you to stay home, do it remotely. He says both have pros and cons. I want Blake to feel like she's getting what she wants so we can move on from this need of hers. And then Justin says, for the record, she's been getting what she wants this entire movie. And she's getting to edit, which is what she wants. Let's remember that. The editor says yes and yet. I don't want to give her any opportunity to say, well, because Redacted was in LA, we could only work certain hours, so I need more time, and I didn't really get what I needed or whatever it may be. Justin says, point is, if you feel it's best and you want to go there, no problem at all. And also, if you would like to stay home, that's something that we can say. I just want you to do what's best for you. And then the editor says, I appreciate your protection and thought. I'm truly game for going if that's what she prefers. If she doesn't care, then save the money and have me work from home. You're definitely nicer than I am. I would want to stay here to make it less convenient for her since she's going to be on a completely different time zone. Justin has bent over backwards for her for months on end. I don't think you should have to do that too, either. And it cuts off there. Hang on. What do we pick up here? Either way, you should do what's best for you, not her. And then editor number 2 says, if it were Texas or some random place, I'd be much more resistant. I'm a New Yorker. Some of my best friends live there, so I love going to the city. Both Redacted are leaving town on trips this week as well, so it's not too complicated week for us. Mm-hmm. All right. So basically, this is just their conversation showing that they're going to New York and why. But
I mean, this makes sense. I mean, I've had times in my career where it's like, okay, there's a business trip, and it's like, based on where it is, you may or may not be more inclined to tell your boss, yes, I want to go on that trip, or no, I don't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's for sure.
And then let me see. I'll let them know. I think the game is to ask for virtual and then give it and send you. Okay. Down here it says, so are we keeping the thrust? Editor number 1 says, I'll drink to that. Of course, I was planning on drinking anyways. I don't know what he was talking about, but okay.
What?
I don't. Oh, sorry, wrong thread. Justin says that's going to end up being a Blake call, honestly. If you can get her to keep it in and it's in the movie when I get back, it can stay in. She has approval of that scene. Editor number 2 says, even for a young Lily. Editor number 1, who was always planning on drinking, says, I was just thinking the same thing. Justin says, when she
Justice for editor number 1.
Yeah. Oh, this is interesting. When she claimed she was unsafe, she redid the nudity writer to get approval of young Lily too. That's kind of bizarre.
Oh, was that in that 18-point
I
thing
guess
after the strike? Oh my gosh.
Maybe, I don't know. So it says when she claimed she was unsafe, she redid the writer to get approval of young Lily too. Why would your... Is that... I don't know if that's normal. Anyone in the comments who has worked in film, please let us know. But if you're working on a film, is it normal for your nudity writer to include another actor? Like, it's strange. I don't get that. But maybe that's...
Now, this is where some context into the movie would be interesting, because are they literally talking about editing? Is there a scene with a young version of her character that requires an intimacy coordinator?
There's a sex scene between young Lily and young Atlas.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah.
Right.
And she's trying to, I don't know, control the edit?
She seems to, like, from what I'm gathering here, she seems to want, like, agency over the young Lily scene. Like, she wants approval over that scene. Like, and that doesn't really involve you. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the editors or the director. I mean, these things need to be spelled out, like who does what again with roles and responsibilities. Yeah, I guess this thrust it's probably literally like a second or two of film footage, right? And they're trying to decide whether they leave it in or not. These two editors, they're just doing their work, right?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I guess it's not it's a different actress, right? Portraying a younger version of the same character.
Yeah.
Okay, so that answers Special K's question. It's not a body double, it's a younger version.
No, it's a whole different person
Mhm.
who plays a whole different version of Lily.
Yeah.
So yeah. When like Lily was in high school or something.
Mhm.
All right. Justin says when she claimed she was unsafe, she agreed to the writer because she wasn't a part of writing that sex scene and didn't want a character depicting her to have sex in high school. Well, that's just not realistic. I mean, I guess not all of us,
Character depicting her. What?
She didn't want a character depicting her, so the younger version of her having sex in high school. That's very strange because
I mean,
in the book, I believe Lily and Atlas, sleep together as well. So like that's just very strange.
like with consent.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
No, it's not
Okay.
like a violent scene. It's like two consenting teenagers having sex.
Yeah, so these are editing decisions that will affect how similar the movie is to the book,
I
right?
guess so, yeah.
Which, is that the actress's job? Again, it all goes back to roles and responsibilities.
Yeah. I don't think that was really her call at all, but I guess she bulldozed her way into the driver's seat, and
Sure.
this is like this feels very controlling to me. Like that's just creatively that doesn't even like make sense for her to have control over that. Like,
well, I can understand if an actress wants to have this much control over the movie and effectively be an editor, a producer, a director, but you have to have that stuff laid out from the start. You can't sort of just change the rules as you go along, or use, Ryan Reynolds as a way to get what you want after the fact.
Well, you
What
can't.
you want to do
Yeah,
is
like you
you
shouldn't be
want to
able
set
to.
up all the roles and responsibilities before you begin and make sure everything's in place so that you can execute with velocity, efficiency, and everybody working together as a team. That's the thing I found that's very interesting. Like if I'm working with another person, say Mark, I'm working with Mark, and Mark's job is in this domain and my job is in this other domain, we can work very well together and collaborate. But if that's not very clear, we may become nervous about whether we're infringing on each other's job charters, and it may become very contentious, like this situation. And that's a job that management has to navigate.
Yeah. That's just so. God, that irks me. Like I don't know, that just irks me. Like didn't want a character depicting her to have sex in high school, but her job is to play a character who did in fact have sex in high school. She's like, shut the. Okay.
Well, I mean, for that, and that's a different actress, right? But I mean,
yes, yeah.
That's the thing. Like, is an actress's job to come in and act for the pages they get and then leave and get paid? Or are they going to be involved in all these other creative decisions? And I think that's where you have to be very clear from the beginning.
Yeah. John Bond is back again. Another Lauren and Bruce live. My family just left after dinner and drinks. John's in Ireland. I'm going to pour myself another glass of wine. John, pour your glass of wine. Enjoy. Thank you for joining us. We're glad you could be here. Public holiday in Ireland tomorrow. Well, happy holiday. Nice. What holiday is it? All right.
I've got a 2019 red right here.
A 2019 red. Let me see. Oh, you don't have the bottle. You have the cup, the glass.
No, I mean, it's in the...
Oh, okay. All right, let's see. April 22nd to May 1st, Lively and the editor work on her cut of the film at Wayfarer and Sony's expense. In the meantime, Baldoni continues cutting his version of the film, all the while believing that he will have the opportunity to consider incorporating Lively's edits at a later date. Okay. Here we have editor number 2 saying, "Happy Sunday. Waiting for my plane. Blake is watching the cut tonight, and we start around noon tomorrow. I'll check in with you guys when we wrap up in the evening." Editor number 1 says, I feel like we should give these guys names. Editor number 2 is Jim, and editor number 1 is Bob. Bob says, Sounds good and safe travels. I really think something good might come out of all this so far. Every time this movie came up against adversity, it somehow worked out to make the movie even better. Why stop now? Justin says it's going to be great and you're the perfect person for the job. Safe travels. We just finished up for the day. Bob says full day. Justin says great. Should we all chat? Jim says yes, but let me get out of the building. Then I can call. Bob says that was my thinking exactly. Of course, Jamie would like to join. Thank you again. So sorry you have to be in this position, yet no one better suited. Grateful for you.
Mhm.
Okay.
They really need to use Outlook to schedule these meetings.
April 23rd, Jamie Heath learns that Lively asked Sony to bring other creative collaborators into the cutting room with her.
Oh boy.
Yikes, bro.
That's
yeah. In response, a Sony executive relayed a firm message to Lively stating, "This is a Wayfarer movie. Wayfarer has final cut and runs the process. Sony is an investor and distributor." The Sony executive hoped to reiterate that Lively needed Wayfarer's approval for any such involvement, reinforcing the boundaries of her creative role.
mm-hmm.
Sony exec says, spoke to Redacted. He will tell Blake tomorrow he cannot authorize her request re-exitorial. You mean editorial or exitorial? What's an exitorial? Hang on.
I've never heard of that. I think it's editor. It's probably because the X key is right next to the D key on the keyboard.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say, what is that? And I Googled it and it just
although
goes
it's a
to
cool
editorial.
word, we should make it mean something.
Exitorial. It's like when you exit the room with a dramatic flair.
We're pioneers. We can. I like it.
I'm going to give an exitorial at the end of this stream.
Sometimes with these things, like not ignoring the mistakes or paying attention to mistakes, is
right.
You can get some good creative things out of it.
Hey, Kirsty, how's it going? Okay, let's see. Thank you for having the conversation. I appreciate you. And with that said, I'm always open and willing to hear your thoughts if we should make another decision with any of this. Okay, let's talk tomorrow. Redacted texted with Blake, shut down Redacted or anyone in cutting room. She said okay. She understood. She did say her editor is available now tomorrow and can Redacted ask if I don't know if it continues down here or not, but April 24th.
They probably weren't concerned with that final message then.
Right, yeah.
In terms of what they're trying to explain about the timeline.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, this is telling me, again, there's a very unclear org chart between Sony and this production company. And I understand movies a lot of the times, they'll create brand new LLCs in California to do the whole movie. Because if somebody wants to sue the movie, they'll sue the LLC. They won't sue the movie studio, Sony, or whoever. And it's a liability detail. But still, you need an org chart in terms of, doing the movie.
All right. Let's see here. Oh, Kirsty says, I'm from Scotland. Kirsty actually sent me a really nice package to my P.O. box from Scotland, so that was cool.
Seriously? Nice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. April 24th, on the same day, a Sony exec informs Heath that Sony is holding firm and refusing Lively's request to bring others into the cutting room, which is what we just saw above. In response, the Sony exec acknowledged the imbalance and admitted this was not a situation anyone at Sony had anticipated or wanted to be in, underscoring the complexity and strain of managing the escalating tensions. Okay, so we read that text. And he says, so I understand, are you saying blank is now coming into editorial as of now? Is conditions on this redacted phone call? And that's what I have to talk to him about. Cannot say okay to redacted now. Jamie says, Justin needs to hear the feedback from you. As you know, this whole thing is incredibly overwhelming and troublesome. The fact that Blake has access to redacted during this process and we don't is not landing for him. So if this ask has come from Blake through redacted, it's not unreasonable that we have firsthand conversations as well. That said, I hear your point and understand. I'm trying to manage both sides. Putting my own position aside, I think once we three speak, he will sign off on it after hearing your thoughts, since you're requesting we don't speak to redacted. Who is redacted here?
This is kind of amazing. I think the redacted is the new editor that Blake is trying to bring in, at least from the earlier texts.
Okay.
And this is another thing in terms of management that you have to watch out for when you're working. This is the too many cooks in the kitchen problem. So I've worked on projects, for example, where there's maybe 6 people that are all working on they're sort of leads for a project, but you don't know exactly what they're all responsible for. They're all just random leads because they're at a certain pay grade level, for example. And what will happen is people doing real work will have to do things like present the same PowerPoint presentation to 6 different meetings in order to get anything done. And as a manager, this is exactly what you want to watch out for.
Okay. Where was I in this text? We got through that. I think 1 through 3 speak, blah, blah. You can articulate it from Sony's perspective. Sony exec says Redacted is the lifesaver here, that she will not engage with Justin, Wayfarer / me. And he inherited this and now has to be the one to navigate her on all the on all this is not his responsibility. The last thing he wants to do, but he's doing it because he thinks you have a hit movie. He does not have bandwidth to do the same with Justin. If something specific to address, okay, of course he will. This person, like, I'm getting like Kevin from The Office vibes, like why use so many words when only a few words will do or whatever.
Yeah, a lot of these are very verbose.
But the play-by-play and the what-ifs, he doesn't have the bandwidth. He's overseeing the marketing and release for 8 divisions in addition to his corporate duties. Okay. Heath and Wayfarer, eager to get the film back from Lively, asked the A-list producer to make it clear to Lively's agent that Wednesday, May 1st, would be her last day in the edit.
Oh, my.
Okay, let's zoom in a little on that. Jamie Heath says, anything? The producer says, dealing now. Stand by. Lively's agent was just told firmly by me that Wednesday is his last day for Blake, period. Sit tight. Later, they say, anything new I need to know? I spoke to Lively's manager again.
This is really interesting because this A-list producer that she brought in is really just trying to do his job and get the job done, right? That's interesting.
I'm sure he won't say yes next time. No.
I don't know. Do we know who that is?
I don't, but chat might know.
Okay.
Let me know if somebody does in the chat. April 30th. Still unsatisfied. Lively demands another extension of her time in the cutting room, pushing the deadline from May 1st to May 8th. Adding to the audacity, Lively insists that Sony and Wayfarer hire her personal editor, someone she had worked with previously, most notably on projects with Reynolds. Faced with this escalating situation, Wayfarer considers granting the extension but attaches a significant condition. Lively would need to sign her long overdue acting agreement. Wow, she still hadn't signed.
It blows my mind that we're here in April 2024 and that is not signed. It blows my mind.
That's crazy.
Also, the writing here with this thing like audacity and all that, like these adjectives, like it makes me really appreciate, Woodnick and Isabel, who've done the Owens v. Eckerd filings. They do such a good job of writing their filings without all this superfluous language.
Well, any criticisms I've seen of this so far, and these weren't my criticisms, but they're other people's criticisms that I've read online, were that they used like some dramatic language and,
And I mean, I understand, power attorney Brian Friedman has to do his PR job, right?
Yeah.
So...
Well, he's better at it than some lawyers we've seen. So.
I know. I mean, there's very few lawyers in the world that I would say should be doing lawyering and PR. He might be one of them.
Personally, I don't think this is like the worst thing ever.
What's her name? Like, Gloria Albright or whoever did that for.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I think, there's some flowery language in here for sure, but I don't think it's terrible. Like some people do. I don't necessarily agree with that, but it's definitely got some flowery / spicy language in here. But all right, let's see. Well, spicy for a legal document, I should put it that way, not spicy in general. All right, let's see. Lively insists Sony and Wayfarer hire her personal editor, someone she had worked with previously, most notably on projects with Reynolds. Faced with this escalating situation, Wayfarer considers granting the extension, but attaches a significant condition. Lively would need to sign her long overdue acting agreement. This document, which had been left unsigned for over a year, would prevent Lively from continuing to leverage her promotional participation as a bargaining tool.
Oh.
Wayfarer's attorneys had been tirelessly trying to secure her signature, and this moment represented a pivotal opportunity to resolve the standoff. Does anyone know, like, is it normal for an actor not to have signed their contract before filming, like, or to
This is
wait this long? Like,
very strange to me. Like, I would
yeah.
almost wonder if that's violating some sort of union rules or something, because that is the thing this is the interesting thing about this filing, is they're saying that's the reason she's still able to hold this PR poker chip over their heads, right? I wouldn't have filmed a single frame of film if that thing wasn't signed myself, but that's hindsight.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've never heard of anything like this before. Obviously, like, because you don't usually see films like blow up like this. At least not like since I've been an adult. I've never seen like this kind of frenzy around a film that was like, it was good but not great.
I don't know. Somebody who's more knowledgeable about sort of I don't know, celebrities doing movies would have to answer this question. Like, I know Dave has done a lot of stand-in, extra work, body double stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know if even Dave would know the answer.
Right. What were you saying, Lauren? When were you asking that? Because I say a lot of stuff. Okay, let's see. Okay. This document would stop her from continuing to leverage. Wayfarer attorney has been tirelessly trying to secure her signature. In this moment, represented a pivotal opportunity to resolve the standoff. Heath clearly communicates Wayfarer's position in an email to Lively's rep, hoping to bring an end to the ongoing impasse while protecting the integrity of the production. Jamie says, "Hi, good speaking with you earlier. Wanted to quickly recap what we spoke about. Wayfarer originally agreed to have Blake work with the editor blanked out on the movie in order to express her editorial creative vision on the dates 4/22 to 5/1. We have since learned of her request to continue working with her own editor from 5/2 to 5/8. We are prepared to extend the period of time with the understanding that prior to any continued work, we will receive her signed contract for the movie. Please let us know that, we can agree and execute the long form agreement, and we will have post-production set things up for the edit to proceed. Jamie." All right, April 30th, Heath is informed that Lively had told Sony Marketing that she would refuse to approve trailers. Oh, wow. Okay, it really is that bad. Okay, trailers.
Yeah, this goes beyond PR interviews. These are things you have to put out there in the media, right?
Yeah, I don't think I fully grasped that until I just saw that. Trailers, TV spots, and digital marketing assets, if Baldoni's acting credit appeared alongside hers? What the fuck?
Oh, wow.
Sony Marketing, citing Lively's contractual approval rights over her image and likeness in promotional materials, warns Heath that she could effectively block the release of almost every piece of promotional content featuring her face or name, essentially all of it.
Right.
Wow. Faced with this leverage, Baldoni and Wayfarer reluctantly agree to remove his name from the before or above title, credit in trailers, and related marketing cutdowns. This concession is yet another clear example of Lively's ongoing effort to diminish Baldoni's presence and influence on the project. There is no creative or professional justification for his name to be excluded. It is purely a result of her demands. Yeah. The situation escalates further when on June 18th, Sony requests that Baldoni's film by credit be removed from the film's poster.
Oh my gosh. Like, can you imagine if Bruce Willis, for example, had said, "Oh, we got to keep M. Night Shyamalan's name off of The Sixth Sense." Like, can you believe that? Like, that movie made that guy.
Jesus.
And it would be completely unfair as well. I mean, wow.
Yeah. And that's crazy. All right. Where did I get to on here? Purely result of her demands. The situation escalates further when on June 18th, Sony requests Baldoni's film by credit be removed. Yep. Okay. A move that reinforces Lively's wholesale erasure of his contributions. As a request of this nature would have no meaning to Sony, it is clearly instigated by Lively. So I do kind of remember that from the original lawsuit papers. There was just so much stuff that there were like little bits and pieces of that would make me say like, oh my God, what the fuck? And I feel like I forgot some of them. So, all right. It ends with us name/actor credit from Sony marketing team member. We're going to have to zoom in a little bit. Hi, Justin. I hope this email finds you well, considering how hard you're working. Considering how hard you're working, please don't take credit for the film at all. All right. I'm helping Redacted tie up some loose ends. It's still blurry when we zoom in, so tie up some loose ends as we near the launch of our trailer. I know Redacted mentioned this to Jamie, but I want to follow up with you regarding waiving your name/actor credit before or above title for audio visual assets, including trailer and related trailer assets, TV ads, and related digital marketing. Can you please confirm that you are okay for us to proceed as discussed? Please don't hesitate to let us know if you have any questions or concerns. Warmly, Redacted. That's fucked. That's so fucked up, man. All right. May 2nd. While Lively is holding the film hostage in the edit room, she is simultaneously stating that the film's marketing by refusing to approve key materials, including the trailer release. With less than 3 months until the film's premiere, Sony becomes increasingly alarmed about the delayed rollout of the trailer. Well, how could you be surprised at that point? A cornerstone of the promotional campaign, in a text exchange between Heath, a Sony film executive, and a Sony marketing executive who had just spoken with Lively, they inform Heath of Lively's still escalating demands. Lively will not approve the trailer release unless she is granted more time in the edit room with her personal editor. Adding to the pressure, Lively made a veiled threat, implying that she might change her mind about reaching out to Taylor Swift. Oh, so now they don't mind not redacting Taylor Swift's name, but okay. Might change her mind about reaching out to Taylor Swift to secure the use of My Tears Ricochet for the trailer.
This is such a game of chess.
So she's saying, like, I'm going to tell Taylor that she shouldn't approve her song use for the trailer if you don't do what I want. God.
This is so Game of Thrones.
Yeah. And I know, like, there's a lot of Taylor Swift fangirls out there. I have dated them.
Oh yeah, you don't want the Swifties mobilized against you.
No, you don't.
That
mess
is for
with that.
sure. You do not want the Swifties on your bad side.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's right, Sean.
So crazy, man. And I don't know if like we have no evidence like seeing this like that Taylor was ever made aware that Blake was threatening these things. So let's just be very clear, like. Her involvement in the situation seems limited to, from all that I can see, is that her involvement was limited to that one time when Taylor and Ryan were in there like praising Blake's writing, which in itself that's pretty annoying, especially for the director who's like the one who should be in charge of all this stuff. But okay, I don't know that
Ryan was in multiple meetings or sessions.
Yeah,
you're saying maybe Taylor was only in one.
That's what it sounded like to me, unless it was like related to the music for the movie. That's what it sounded like to me.
This is wild because if you felt like you were in a hostile workplace as an actress, why would you do all this? Like, I don't. Yeah. Wouldn't you want to just be like done and get out?
Yes, you would think so. Yeah. But no, it was a hostile takeover, not a hostile environment. So that's just my opinion, guys. I know there's people out there who like really, feel strongly about Blake's side of the story. That's fine. I can only, give my opinion. I'm not saying that's a fact by any means, but my opinion from reading this right now and acknowledging that Blake has not come out with a rebuttal to this is that this sounds really, really bad for Blake. So, but I don't think that Taylor.
Yeah,
it doesn't sound like Taylor was part of any sort of weird extortion attempt or anything like that. It sounds like Taylor's name was thrown into this as a threat, but not necessarily that she was any part of it. So I do want to acknowledge that.
Yeah, like if I'm sitting here on your stream and I'm like, oh, I think Dave Neal might, not want to eat the chocolate ice cream. It's not like he told me that. I'm just you can't.
You're saying if I don't let you take over my stream, that Dave won't eat the chocolate ice cream I sent him?
Dave's going to do what Dave's going to do. But yeah, we'll see if there's more.
Fine, give it to August.
Obviously, there may be replies to this. There may be new evidence. We'll wait to see what that looks like.
Right. Okay, let's see. When Heath stands firm and refuses to acquiesce, the Sony marketing executive delivers a sharp and pointed warning. You don't want to play ball. You're going to delay and greatly hurt the movie. Good luck. Wow. Okay. This stark response signals that Sony, too, was beginning to apply pressure on Wayfarer, effectively strong-arming them into compliance. The message makes it clear that the studio is growing increasingly frustrated with the situation and is prepared to hold Wayfarer accountable for any negative fallout, adding yet another layer of tension to an already fraught dynamic. Yikes. Okay. Here's the Sony exec saying, Jamie, I have Redacted on here too. Redacted has gotten Blake to approve the trailer we want, with our narration, the chair kick, the bruise, etc. And Blake is calling Taylor to approve the song. Okay. She, of course, just reached out saying she is asking for time with Redacted, her editor. We know it was... Go ahead.
This just blows my mind that you have an actress who's been hired to do a job, and you're having that actress contact a musician who's been hired to clear music. This should be done by lawyers or other managers. Like, an actor in a movie should have nothing to do with the music in a movie. Like, this is just blowing my mind that this is how this works.
Yeah. Let's see. She, of course, just reached out saying she's asking for time with Redacted, her editor. We know it was conditional on signing contract, but asking if you will reconsider. Why would you reconsider that? No. So Redacted can release this trailer and Blake does not change her mind, recalling Taylor Swift. Wow. That's so fucked. I'm sitting here thinking, why would you reconsider that? And then they spell it out for me, and I'm like, oh shit. Like, what do you even do in this situation? I feel like you're literally powerless. Like, what can you do? Shit. Jamie says, Redacted, I'm available to talk on the phone. Call me for free. Marketing exec says, you guys don't want to play ball. You're going to delay and greatly hurt the movie. Good luck. That is only if you want to make this date. We are going to need to push. Finish director cut, and we can have multiple previews down the road. Damn. That's crazy. Faced with Lively's escalating threats, ranging from potentially delaying the film's release to outright refusing to promote it, Wayfarer once again reluctantly conceded to her demands, allowing her to continue editing with her personal editor. Further, they withdrew their reasonable request for Lively to sign her long overdue contract, opting instead to focus on maintaining forward momentum. Wayfarer's only request was that Lively provide updates by the end of the day on May 8th, allowing the director sufficient time to review and incorporate her edits into his cut. Despite the mounting tensions, Baldoni, Wayfarer, and Sony held on to the belief that Lively's contributions would ultimately be integrated into Baldoni's vision for the film, preserving the integrity of the final product. Damn. All right, so we get some photos here. Let's see. The email says call request from Jamie. It says, hi, Redacted, hope you're well. I'm willing to request that we consider finding some time to have a call to discuss the It Ends With Us contract if you're able to do so. Redacted says, guys, if I can help facilitate this call or do anything, let me know. I'm in New York. Thanks. Redacted. Jamie says, and this is to Blake's reps, hello, everyone. In light of the conversations that have been happening over the last few days, I wanted to align on where things are now. We have withdrawn our request for your client to sign her agreement in order to extend the time with the edit. That's so sad. As of 3 p.m. Eastern, Blake and her editor have full access to the film and will continue to have access through May 10th. As mentioned through our post supervisor, it would be most helpful if we were to receive any updates end of day May 8th in order for the director to digest the information and implement them into his cut. As for future resolution of the contract, we will stand by in hopes that we can come to a conclusion soon. Have a good weekend. Now, May 6th, we have pictures of Baldoni with Colleen Hoover, the writer of the book. They host a trailer launch event at the Sony studio lot and shoot promotional content in support of the film. Okay. And we saw in the initial lawsuit, when I read through that, the emails between Colleen and Baldoni, and they were both like really excited about the film, really excited about each other. Like, it seemed like they were forming a good relationship. This
Mm,
doesn't play, by the way, it's just a screenshot. But like, there's them at promotional
yeah.
stuff.
We need to get Justin some Grant Ellis V-neck t-shirts. That's a whole...
I mean, yeah, okay.
That's a really obscure reference.
I don't know what that means, so I'm just like, yeah, sure.
The Shandies will understand.
Bachelor? That's what you're talking about? Grant the Bachelor?
Yeah.
Okay. I knew that much, but I don't know, like, I haven't seen what he wears, so. Okay. May 10th, on the final day on which she is approved to edit the film, Lively refuses to turn over her cut to the film's director and instead tells Sony that she wants to do a friends and family screening of her cut to gather feedback and continue working on her edit. Hold on. If you want real feedback, if you want real feedback, you don't ask your friends and family. They have to tell you it's good.
So weird. This is not working in business. This is like, making the movie out of your garage. Yeah, I'm going to get my friends and family to watch my edit. This is so crazy. I can't believe this.
Not to brag, but
nobody should be allowed to watch this. Like, it should be a contractual violation of security protocol. There should be a VPN. If she's showing this file from a VPN to friends and family, that should be a complete security violation, which is subject to horrendous lawsuits. Like, there was a guy where I worked, who worked in a tech firm, and he changed jobs, and he went to work at what is my cat doing? He's out of control. He went to work at a different tech firm that was a competitor where his wife happened to work. So he moved because his wife had moved, which is fine. The problem was he kept a specification that he wasn't supposed to have on his laptop, like a USB stick or something, and then put it on his new work laptop. And his new employer realized that he had done this through security scans, and they called the FBI because they did not want to be held to the liability of the first company suing the second company out of business. And so the two companies worked together to say, look, this guy did something he shouldn't have done. Let's make sure everybody's aware, and we resolve this in a way that doesn't make anybody go out of business. But that's exactly what she wants to do here. It blows my mind.
Yeah, this is pretty crazy, dude. Like, I mean, I feel like the more I read, the more I'm just like, oh my God, this is like bothering me. You know what I mean? So like, I keep myself pretty removed when I'm reading this stuff. I'm pretty removed. I'm like, okay, well, I'm trying to see this side and this side and this side. But as I'm reading more and more of this, I'm just kind of like, this is fucking terrible. I feel angry. Like,
I mean, I'm not on anybody's side. I'm on the org chart side.
I know you are. Yeah.
I'm like, how would you go to work and do your job in this kind of environment? I'm just like,
yeah, no, that's crazy. That's so crazy.
I don't know.
Oh my God. Let's see. On the final day on which she's approved to edit the film, Lively refuses to turn over her cut to the film's director.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's no... It's not how this works.
Jesus Christ.
There are employment agreements you sign.
She made me mess up my hair. I'm suing too.
If she hadn't signed these types of employment agreements that inhibit this kind of thing from happening, then that's a huge problem.
Yeah. Special KL says,
yeah, I mean,
Bruce, you're too logical for these type of people. We gotta try.
I'm like the when there's like a relationship that goes south and like somebody in the comments is like, I can fix them. Like Hollywood, I can fix you. Like, that's me.
Yeah, dude. Bruce has got the savior complex for the Hollywood crazies. That's okay. I'm like that too. But mine is a little more personal. I find the Tinder crazies that I need
Megan Fox to come in here and say, Bruce, you can't fix them.
Which Megan Fox? Because we know two of them.
Not that Megan. Our Megan Fox.
Not that Megan Fox. Okay, you got it. All right.
It's a funny story. I worked with a guy named Willie Nelson. And of course, there's Willie Nelson, the famous celebrity. But after working for like 10 years with my Willie Nelson, whenever somebody said the name, my brain
What working with my Willie Nelson gives a different kind of picture.
Well, you know what I mean. I mean, the guy I worked with, whenever somebody says that name, my brain thinks about him before it thinks about the singer.
Yeah, I hear you.
And I'm getting to the point where if somebody says Megan Fox, my brain thinks about Megan Fox, the writer, instead of Megan Fox, the Transformers actress.
Yeah, well, me too, because Megan Fox is a little more present in our regular lives than other Megan Fox.
Exactly.
Other Megan Fox is busy having an on again, off again with Machine Gun Kelly.
Oh, yeah, I just can't. Yeah. Whatever.
Right. Okay, let's see here. May 10th, on the final day she's approved to edit, she refuses to hand over cut. Wants to do the friends and family. This was, of course, at Wayfarer and Sony's expense and not accounted for in the budget. Shocking. May 13th, Sony and Wayfarer do an official audience test screening of Baldoni's cut and Aliso Viejo. I've never heard of Aliso Viejo. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but Aliso, I think. The film scores 94% with females under 35, which was their target audience. Both Sony and Wayfarer are ecstatic about this, and then they're showing the scores there. May 15th, Baldoni shares the official audience test screening scores with his editors. Okay, just curious if you guys have peeked at her cut and if anything's changed. Editor number 2, what do we say, Bob and Jimmy? Or Jim. No, it's Jim. Okay, editor number 2, Jim, says, I have just been told that we are not permitted to look. What? Okay. We focus on what's best for the film, Justin said. It'll all work out. And then he says, the editors and director isn't allowed to look at an actress's cut. Got it. Well, here we go. We will keep taking the high road. All right. The trailer was released on May 16th. On May 18th, Lively hosts a friends and family screening. So she actually got her friends and family screening. That's all right.
Justice for editors 1 and 2. Oh my gosh, those guys.
Right?
They've been through the shit.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Friends and family in NY. There we go on the 18th. Let's see. May 20th, Wayfarer is informed through Sony that Lively, emboldened by the feedback she received from her friends and family. Well, I got to tell you, that's not the best critic audience.
That's not how jobs work.
No.
Oh my gosh.
Demanded an official audience test screening of her version of the film. In light of Lively's threat to withhold promotion of the film.
Oh no.
We're still threatening that.
They actually did a second test screening? Oh my gosh. This is unbelievable.
We're about to find out, yeah. As well as her barely veiled threat to end Baldoni's career with a slew of false accusations. The studio reluctantly agreed to do an official audience test of both versions, again at Wayfarer and Sony's expense. This decision was made on the understanding that Lively had agreed with Sony that if Baldoni's director's cut tested higher, she would drop the matter and fully cooperate so that Baldoni could finish the film without further interference.
Oh my God. It's not the Olympics. It's a job. There should be job roles and responsibilities. There should be contracts. There should be a process that you follow in terms of getting the product done.
Right.
This whole thing, and I feel like I can speak for other people who've gone through engineering college. Okay, as part of their career path.
Right.
This is just infuriating to us as engineers. You cannot do this. This just blows my mind.
Let's see here. On the 30th, Sony and Wayfarer held an official audience test screening of Lively's cut. The results revealed Lively's cut scored an 82% approval rating with females under 35, 12 points lower than Baldoni's version, 94%. The same evening, a senior Sony marketing exec contacted Lively to discuss the scores. Instead of honoring... What's up?
Chad is saying Mission Viejo is near Aliso Viejo, so we might be able to find the missing sonograms where they screened this movie. It's all coming together, guys. Oh my gosh.
We cracked the case. Okay. Oh man, there's going to be people. If you're watching this and you haven't followed Laura Owen's saga with Clayton Eckert, The Bachelor, please ignore us. Okay.
For sure, yeah.
But at least now we know what really happened.
I know, right? Oh my gosh.
All right. Hi, Laura. I'm pretty sure she goes through all my transcripts and just looks to see if her name is mentioned in my videos.
Oh yeah.
Hi, Laura.
We're here for you, Laura. We're gonna find Blake Lively has your ultrasounds, Laura.
Bruce is here for you. Bruce is here for you. Not
I'm
me.
here for you. I'm trying to help her.
Stop trying to copyright strike me.
Do what I can.
Anyways, let's see, they discussed the scores, and instead of honoring her original promise, Lively rescinded it, doubling down on her refusal to promote Baldoni's cut, regardless of his stronger audience performance. To make matters worse, Lively further asserted that Colleen Hoover would also, oh my god, the book author Colleen Hoover would also refuse to promote the film unless Lively's cut was released. This was deeply disheartening, as the long-standing relationship between Colleen, Baldoni, and Heath had been one of mutual respect. And this is why we saw like the pictures of them up there where they're like having a good time. We saw the emails between them, which were, more than cordial. They were like both very excited to work with each other and stuff like that. So, man, that's crazy. All right. June 2nd, once again, Wayfarer found itself with no choice but to allow Lively to continue her edit, effectively sidelined to sharing notes with Lively and her editor, without any assurance that those notes would even be considered. In a careful attempt to navigate the situation, Heath compiled Wayfarer's collective feedback, including Baldoni's input, and shared it with Sony, hoping it might be relayed to Lively. By this point, it had become painfully clear to Baldoni and the Wayfarer team that Lively was determined to assume full creative control from the director, the financier, and the studio behind the picture. Her campaign to marginalize Baldoni's role in finishing the film had proven devastatingly effective, leaving him and the team devastated and frustrated. Despite everything, Baldoni and Wayfarer remained hopeful that the film's release and success would make it all worth it, and remained focused on the goal of completing a film that could have impact. This is exhausting. Okay, and I didn't even live it, so. All right, we have here's an email from Jamie to the Sony rep. As discussed, the team has gone through Blake's last edit and have the following notes for Blake's editor and Blake to consider. We'd like this to be presented to them in the spirit of wanting to share notes and thoughts in effort to achieve the same goal, which is to make the movie the best it can be. They may choose not to respond to them, but at least if you can assure us that they will be delivered, we can hope that some of them are considered. Not sure how you wish to deliver, whether through, the Sony rep, producer, or the producer or the Sony rep, but I believe there is nothing lost in sending them over. Who knows, maybe they are able to appreciate them since they too want to deliver the best version and get scores we can all be happy about. Jeez. Okay. June 3rd, Baldoni is informed that Lively would be attending Book Bonanza with Hoover instead of Baldoni. Oof. Jennifer Abel, Baldoni's publicist at Jones Works, and Baldoni share a text exchange disheartened at how things have unfolded. Jen says, I am the prize. Her attending BookCon is a win for the film ultimately, and you can be home with your family. Justin says, she's kicked me out officially from the film now. She's finishing it all. I can't be involved. Music, sound effects, visual effects, everything. I'll make it through somehow. Just need to feel it all. That's so sad. That makes me so sad for him. Oh, I need to move that. Sorry. Okay. June 5th, Baldoni's editors.
Unbelievable.
Right. No, this is really crazy to listen to. All right. June 5th, Baldoni's editors informed Baldoni that they heard from a secret source that Lively was incorporating a bunch of Baldoni's version back to the film ahead of the second official audience test screening of Lively's cut on June 6th. So it wasn't really Lively's cut then, was it?
Oh, boy.
So if she's using his version of the film, it's not really her cut, but okay. Hope ADR went well. Being admitted for 3 days for potential infection. So this is when Justin got sick. He was really stressed out, apparently, and then he was being admitted to the hospital. So now you have a real reason to why I'm not doing ADR. I love and adore you both. Thanks for standing by me through this. You guys are amazing. Editor number 1, Bob, says, holy cow, feel better. We didn't want to bug you during all of this, but our secret source has let us know that the new version they're previewing tomorrow has a bunch of our version put back in. Okay. We just have to keep it quiet because we want to keep our back channel open. Feel better. Get well soon. We love you, and all of this craziness, health and movie is going to work out. Okay, so there's Blake Lively cut number 2. The approval rating for females under 35, the target audience, was 83%. So her cut number 1 was 82%. Cut number 2, where she put back in some of his stuff, was 83%, but Justin's original cut was 94%.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
And I mean, I don't know, these numbers, like, I understand the business, Sony or whoever is trying to do what they're gonna do, but, like,
Yeah.
I don't know, like, if you had to have these numbers or whatever, like, you wouldn't have, Blue Velvet from David Lynch. You probably wouldn't have the first Martin Scorsese movies. You wouldn't have the first Jaws. You wouldn't
Right.
have, like, you gotta let filmmakers make their movies. Like, this blows my mind.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, man.
I keep saying it, but
No, I understand. June 6th, he's hospitalized for 3 days due to the infection. I remember seeing these texts in the original lawsuit or somewhere. June 10th or June 12th, sorry. Wayfarer is informed that Blake told Sony she will be showing audiences at Book Bonanza her cut of the film, regardless of Sony or Wayfarer's approval. She later admitted on her panel at the event that the studio begged her not to show the film, but ultimately they didn't have the option to say no as she brought the movie with her on the airplane. A video of this comment is available at the 48:32 mark at. Hold on. All right, let's see. We'll go to 48:32 here. Okay.
On the airplane. Like I have like a folder with like a disc.
Impatient. This is a huge honor. Blake had to fight for you guys to get to see this early, so we want it to go
I literally
well.
brought the movie with me on the airplane. Like I have like a folder with like a disc, like a hard drive.
I love it. Yes.
No, yeah, it's and the other thing is I have the cutest jeans ever that I'm wearing tomorrow night. Also not sponsored. But they're
Okay.
that is crazy. So one time when I went to the Twin Peaks Film Festival, the Showtime limited series was airing.
Mhm.
And so it was in the middle of the airing, episodes had happened and there were more episodes in the future. And the festival for the show was happening. And the executive producer from the show, Sabrina, brought the episode that was going to air that week on Showtime to air concurrently to show it at a venue in Washington State, right? And it's like, you have to know who can do that, right? You can't just let like they didn't have random actors flying around with copies of this TV show, right? Like it's unbelievable. This was the person that
Yeah,
was
it's
the
crazy.
executive producer of the entire project.
God,
Had
yeah.
to clear it with Showtime corporate to bring a copy of one episode to the festival so that they could air it at the exact same time that Showtime was releasing it.
Right.
Because the building didn't have Showtime coming in or whatever.
Oh,
Like,
geez.
I mean, the fact that she's running around with a copy of a whole movie that's worth hundreds of millions of dollars. This is not just one episode of a TV show on Showtime
Right.
that hardly anybody's heard about. This is like a huge movie. And she's running around on an airplane with a copy of it. It blows my mind.
Oh, God. For this event, apparently, she reached out to Isabella and Brandon, who were on the panel with her there, and had paid for their travel and lodging to the event. So, like, they just like shut Justin out and then invited other people from the film to go, and that's awkward as hell. So there they are at the event. So Baldoni shares with his editors that Lively's cut of the film would be shown on the second day of Book Bonanza. Yes, her version, the whole movie, yep, hers was supposed to be ours, and then I was uninvited. The whole thing is pretty cruel and intense. Editor number 1, Bob, says, I just hope you love for or at least stomach the cut that is going out into the world. Justin says, haven't seen it yet, can't yet. Oh yeah, that's right, they're not allowed to see it. I forgot. Oh my God.
I can't believe this. Like, I could understand if you were like, okay, I'm going to direct a movie and then some other people are going to take over and do trailers and edits and all that. Like, if that's what you signed up for, this would make sense. If that's not what you signed up for, this is out of control. This is just the Wild West.
Okay. I'm taking a brief sabbatical to go to the bathroom. I will be right back. Can you read these 2 paragraphs and maybe this one?
Let me see. Where are we starting? June 17th?
June 17th. Yep. I'll be right back.
Okay, I can read these. All right, so we're after these text messages. We've got June 17th, 2024. Lively makes the unilateral decision to bring on a new composer for the film. Oh my gosh. Like, if you aren't the person chartered with hiring the composer, like this just blows my mind. As a result, the original award-winning composer was let go. I mean, it doesn't matter whether they won awards or not. If they were hired to do a job, they should do the job. Despite having already completed the score. I mean, yeah, which included costly orchestral arrangements. Yeah, guys, for a lot of these movies, like what you can do, you can sort of figure out how you're going to score the movie using computers and software and virtual instruments in terms of making music. But a lot of times for these movies, what you go do then, once you have everything written out in sheet music and you know what you need for every scene, you actually go get an orchestra. Like you get, Portland, Oregon Symphony Orchestra, and you record a real orchestra. And this is dozens, if not hundreds of microphones through huge mixing consoles into giant Pro Tools setups. And then you have to go mix and master all of that. It's very expensive and time consuming and costly. So if you've done all that, that's a huge time sink. Even though Lively had absolutely no right to do this, neither Wayfarer nor Sony were able to challenge Lively's decision. And, I wonder if that is still coming back to this thing about she hasn't signed some contract somewhere. Like, this seems to be the biggest mistake of this entire thing, is not getting all these contracts in place before you start. Even though Lively had absolutely no right to do this, neither Wayfarer nor Sony were able to challenge Lively's decision, despite the significant financial implications. Exactly. This is very expensive. Paying out the original composer in full and shouldering the steep costs in hiring a new composer so late in the process. Yeah, because if you do a new composition, you'll have to go back, hire another orchestra, re-record everything, remix everything, remaster everything. It's very expensive. June 18th, 2024, Sony marketing requests that Baldoni waive his, quote, film by, unquote, credit on the secondary poster so that only Lively's name would appear above the title. Oh my gosh. What? Can you imagine if Bruce Willis or someone, Tony Collette, had said, "Hey, M. Night Shyamalan, you can't put your name on the Sixth Sense poster"? Like, what? Unbelievable. Further, despite having already approved a poster for the film, it was understood by Wayfarer that Lively would not approve this new version in which Baldoni's name appeared next to hers, thus requesting that Baldoni's name be removed. Sony obliged and made the ask to Baldoni, given this is a contractual right that Baldoni negotiated. Sony needed Baldoni to put in writing that he was waiving his right to a film by credit. So he already had a contract saying how these posters would go. And now they're saying, well, you need to waive what you agreed to earlier. That's just ridiculous. Let's see. For clarity, there would be no reason for Baldoni to waive this right without Lively requiring him to do so. Ultimately, he acquiesced. Oh, guys, what do you think about this? We're at the end of the page. I think they're going to have an email here, domestic print for approval. Yeah, they're going to have some emails here to substantiate these claims. Erica P says, what an absolute diva. I mean, I don't know, but here's the thing. If these things are wrong, or if we're misinterpreting all this, her side, I think Dave Neal mentioned it in his video earlier today, they need to put out their own website, their own timeline, their own information, their own, if we're missing emails, text messages, context, they need to explain it, because otherwise this looks really bad. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see, what else do we got? I've learned as I get older that taking the high road, Sunshine says, is just giving someone license to take advantage of you. Yeah, to some extent. I mean, you need to be okay with, what you're giving someone in a negotiation process. Yeah, that's for sure. and have if you set your expectations low, you'll always be pleasantly surprised, right? Um, let's see. Sunshine says this was bad on day one, and it's gotten unimaginably worse for Blake as time goes by. I mean, it seems like it from these filings. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Alex is saying people with a lot of money are playing people with other people's lives. Yeah. Yep. Power. What is it they say? Power can corrupt. This story is a can of worms, plans within plans, right? Yeah, that's right. Oh my gosh. Sarah says this is so bad for Blake. She honestly thought she was pulling this whole thing off. Wild stuff. Yeah, I mean, if you're in a context like a job and you're working with the people within the context of that job, some lawyers, producers, directors, editors, your scope may just be, hey, this is the job context I'm working in, and you may push at those boundaries. The interesting thing here is how public all of this became, where the general public is going to figure things out, right? Someone in the public domain is going to look at the metadata. Someone in the public domain is going to cross-reference documents, timelines, create timelines like this. Crowdsourcing investigation from the public is very powerful. I think, Dave Neal had a Saturday interview with one of these people who was sort of doing YouTube journalism and was talking about how it's actually easier to crowdsource fact checking than it is to, say, have a singular editor who can fact check all of the things before you write an article or do some research, because you are exponentially, or at least geometrically, amplifying what you can do in terms of fact checking or investigation work. It's kind of amazing. What else do we have here? I think, okay, so we're up to June 18th. Oh, this email is from June 18th. Okay,
Oh,
so
hang on.
that's good. And there's Lauren.
I'm back.
Yeah.
How's it going?
We exist.
Okay. Well, do you get through the paragraph there?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. So we'll get into the email now. I just want to say, and I won't talk about this too much because I know there's a lot of people watching us cover this case that do not follow my channel normally.
Mhm.
But I've been doing a lot of work trying to get healthier and lose weight and not drink alcohol and just do
Mhm.
better. And I had this whole freaking thing which was like a picture of from the Brita filter fit in this bottle.
Mhm.
And this is from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. You're supposed to drink this much.
Oh, right.
And I've
on.
had
Those
I
are
started
cool.
here when we
Mhm.
started this stream an hour and 12 minutes ago. I started here and now we're down here. So I'm just
Oh,
I'm
you almost
really-
did this whole thing in
Mhm.
a stream instead of a day. Oh my gosh.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm drinking a lot of water these days. So, I mean, I always
Yeah.
drink a lot of water, but still. Anyways, sure, that was boring for some people to hear.
no, I mean, if I'm doing a lot of computer work or something, I'll get all the coffee, all the water over here. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
understand.
Okay. Wayfair email, it says, hey Jamie, or no, this is to Jamie, my bad. Yeah. Hey Jamie, we had a very successful weekend at Book Bonanza and the fans loved the book art displayed at the event. We would like to release this art as our second teaser poster for domestic distribution since it has already been released internationally in many markets. It only makes sense to us or to use it domestically as well. We'd love to start printing tomorrow to get it into theaters. However, this version does not have Justin Baldoni's film by credit, so we would need to waive that. Okay. I feel like we read that or something along those lines up there, but
We did, yeah.
okay.
Or you did.
I mean, you're here too.
Well, I mean, it may have been in the original complaint that you did for 6
No,
hours.
I remember
but-
seeing something about waiving
Yeah.
the film by credit because they sent one to
Mhm.
Justin that said your, whatever won't be on the poster. Okay. June 18th, on the same day that Baldoni waives his film by credit, Wayfair also reluctantly agrees to give Lively a producer credit on the film. Yikes. This was an ask that she took to Sony, despite it being a decision properly made by Wayfair. She was originally credited only as an executive producer, but both Wayfair and Sony no longer had the leverage to oppose her demands or the will to deal with the fallout if they were to deny the credit at that point. Wayfair conceded and informed Sony, while also remarking that they would not be advocating for her getting the PGA mark, as that is not applicable. Given Lively's contributions to the film, it was collectively agreed among the producers that she had not earned the distinction of the PGA mark.
Interesting.
PGA, is that like Producers Guild of America, I think?
Probably. I mean, you know, when you see a film and there's like a cinematographer and they have a bunch of letters after their name.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah,
know,
here's a
ASC and
Producers
blah, blah,
Guild
blah.
of America. Yep.
Yeah, so these are different attributions, and I think you probably have to do a certain amount of things to qualify for these, either on a case-by-case basis or as part of your career.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure, but or maybe it's sort of like, you know, in the tech world or the IT world, you go get certifications, and then you can have these things after your name.
Mm-hmm.
Once you've passed a test, for example. I'm not sure exactly what all the qualifications here are in the film industry,
Me neither.
but
Okay.
I'm sure it's something like that.
This is from Jamie to Sony Legal on June 18th. Writing from Japan, we have agreed to give Blake a producer credit. She would not be getting the PGA mark as it's not applicable. So it's basically just saying what we read up here. June 20th. Shortly after granting her the producer credit, Heath was informed that Lively had reached out to Sony yet again, this time to ask that Baldoni and Heath write a letter on her behalf so that she may be considered to receive the PGA mark. Oh my God.
This is really interesting. I wish they would sort of explain the context of this PGA. Like, what do you actually have to do to receive this attribution?
I think you have to actually produce the film, probably.
You know, like, for example, you know, if I have a bachelor's degree from the UW-Madison, that's a degree that is conferred upon me by an accredited university.
Right.
And so there's a whole process that has to go through for that.
Mm-hmm.
And on the other hand, you know, maybe there are honorific awards that you can get that are different than that just require, I don't know, some other governing body or some upper level manager to just give you that attribution saying, yes, you did this amount of work. Yeah, I mean, we could just Google it.
What's required for a PGA mark? I guess we could. I wanted to pull up that comment because it was like, it says Teresa Francis Lowe, and I thought it said Teresa
It's like, you
Francis.
morons, let me Google that for you.
I thought it said Teresa Francis Law, and so I was like, Teresa, why don't you just tell us?
Law. She's going to sue us if we don't Google it.
Sorry, guys. No, it's okay. It's okay. I hold on. Let me. What is required for a PGA mark? A producer, yeah, right. A producer
our
must
faces
be credited.
are in the way of this page, by the way.
Oh, well, I mean, that's usually the case, isn't it? Hang on. Okay. Sorry, wrong page here. To receive a PGA mark, a producer must be credited as a producer or produced by in the film's credit, and demonstrate that they performed a significant portion of the producing functions on the film in a decision-making capacity across all stages of production. Verified through a thorough review process by the PGA, which may include input from other key crew members involved in the film.
Who are the PGA?
The Producers Guild of America.
Interesting. So she wanted a PGA. So she wanted basically them to take all the time to go through this process of like submitting referrals or submitting names so the PGA could determine if she would receive this PGA mark for this movie. This is very interesting.
Yeah.
And everybody else is like, we weren't ever planning on doing that. Ma'am, this is a Wendy's.
Yeah, right. All right, guys. So
oh my gosh.
The reason I can't stop and Google everything though is because I again have to make dinner for my dad tonight. So I have like an hour and maybe an hour and a half left.
I know,
so
right?
I'm trying to finish this tonight.
I have video games I want to play.
Oh my God, you're so okay. All right. Shortly after granting producer credit, Heath was informed that Lively had reached out to Sony yet again, and then we talked about the PGA mark. Heath had learned from Sony that Lively was extremely displeased with his response and told Sony that as a result of the men not submitting the letter, any goodwill left was now gone. What goodwill left? What goodwill left? Like, what are you talking about?
I mean, can you imagine getting to the end of the project and being like, I want a completely different title for my contributions to this project? Like,
Mhm.
I mean, that's not how it's not how anything works in normal corporate America.
Alex says the editors Blake originally hired were Taylor Swift music video editors. Is that true? I'm gonna have to look into that, guys. Maybe
I
we'll
mean,
do something about that tomorrow or something.
I don't know. I mean, music videos are like short movies. I mean,
Mhm.
could be okay. It's just weird because oh my gosh, again, it just goes back to org charts. Like, if I'm not hiring for somebody who's going to report to me in an org chart, why am I trying to hire people? Like, it doesn't make I can have referrals, of course, if somebody has an open requisition for a job. But if there's no open requisition for a job, why am I trying to fire people and get my own people hired? It's unbelievable.
Mhm. Oh, see you later, Teresa. Thanks for coming in. All right,
Yeah.
let's see. June 20th to 24th, Abel emails Sony's marketing teams to inquire about a content shoot. Sony, at the time of the initial outreach, is not aware of the plans for the shoot. Later, they attested to the fact that Lively and Maximum Effort were running the show. Abel was understandably concerned at the optics of the entire cast doing a content shoot without the director and co-lead being present, of course. This would later
Oh
be
boy.
something the public would take notice of. And then here it says in an email from Jennifer Abel to Redacted, which is somebody from Sony. Me again, just checking in to see if you've heard anything else about this. Is it happening on Monday or when? Just want to make sure that we stay on top of this and could put together some content ideas for Justin to also be included, so it's less apparent that he's not physically there with the cast.
Oh my gosh.
And then somebody from Sony emails back to Jennifer Abel and says, "Hi, we heard about that too. She wants to do tape more content with some of the actors." What? Okay. Okay. So they're just basically saying we need to include Justin, and then whoever from Sony is basically just saying she wants to tape more with some of the other actors. I guess.
Yeah,
is
like
what's
maybe
going
some
on here.
pre-recorded clips or something.
Yeah, but we've seen most of this in the initial lawsuit.
Mhm.
Do you have any more intel here about the event Blake is putting together to capture more content? We just want to be armed with the details ahead of time so there aren't surprises, and so we can plan accordingly to have Justin included in content as well. This was a really bad look to just not have him included in anything. For the film rather. So if there really is a situation or was a situation to where he was like harassing Blake and did something really wrong, I could kind of understand that, but it's still a really bad look for the film, not knowing the background of that. But I'm leaning towards it really doesn't seem like he did what he's being accused of. So that's just my opinion. I can't speak for everyone. So
Well, you'd think if there had been some sort of, like where I work, if there had been some sort of employee conflict and there was an HR action, like it would be apparent from the communication between different managers. Do you know what I mean? Like, it wouldn't be some sort of mysterious thing.
yeah. All right, let's see. From Sony to Jennifer Abel. For the content, Blake and Maximum Effort are really running the show. We know it's Thursday and Friday, but Blake has been talking to talent and Maximum Effort is leading the planning. I'm not flying out for it either. So nobody knows what's going on here. All right. June 25th, while contemplating the PGA letter and fearing what Lively was capable of, Heath reached out to Lively via text in order to humanize the situation. It had been months since Lively had spoken to Baldoni or Heath directly, as she insisted at each turn that she needed an intermediary. This time was no different, as she refused to get on a call. Heath, feeling that she was unwilling to even hear them out, again conceded and agreed to write the letter recommending Lively for a PGA mark.
Ooh.
Damn. All right, so these are just the emails basically proving that he agreed to write the letter. He says, "Hi, Blake. I hope you're well. I wanted to write a note acknowledging," and let me zoom this in a little bit so everyone can see. "I wanted to write a note acknowledging the challenging time we have all found ourselves in." And I'm just like reading this in my mind. I'm like, because of you. And how it and now. Sorry, it's a little blurry, guys. Still, so I'm doing my best here. And how it says in. It looks like in, but I think it's supposed to say it.
Yeah.
How it has undoubtedly affected many decisions.
Mm-hmm.
One being their crested letter to the PGA. In the midst of it all, so many of the conversations have been had with third parties. I do understand why, but not really. However, I believe it could be helpful if you and I had a direct conversation in effort to find a path through this. We could have redacted and whomever else you'd like to join as well. Hopefully, this can be an opportunity to simply consult and see if it could lead to potential change of thought. Honestly, Blake, I'm reaching out with a spirit of optimism. I wouldn't be. Please let me
boy.
know if you're open to having a Zoom today. Thank you, Jamie.
Ugh.
Okay. Response from Blake says, "Hey, Jamie, feel free to send through anything you'd like to say here." I hope you're well. From Blake.
Boy.
So she won't communicate in anything other than text, I guess.
I mean,
From
to be
Blake-
fair, like somebody pointed out yesterday, from one perspective, you do want records of everything if you can. Once
Right.
you're at this level of animosity, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That's somebody says all the best, Blake. All the best. It will always be such a slap in the face from now on. All right. I can't even say when I'm talking to like a girl that I don't want to see anymore, I wish you all the best, because I'm just like, damn it. I know that's aggressive now.
I mean, this was a very large text that was basically like, let's have a Zoom call.
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah.
I do agree with that.
So he responds, "Thank you for your response, Blake. I respect your decision to not have a call." Sorry.
And who is this? Jamie Heath? Who is this again? Is this the
He's another
the
person.
super executive producer? Is
He's
that-
another
is
one
that
of
right?
the defendants in the Blake lawsuit and one of the
Mhm.
plaintiffs in the Justin lawsuit. So he also worked on the film. I can't remember exactly what his role is. I can't. If anyone in the chat can remind us, like I said, I can't Google everything right at this moment.
Mhm.
But he's again one of the parties involved.
I mean,
and,
isn't he either basically effectively Justin's boss or partner in the
something
business?
like that? Yeah. He works
I
with.
mean, this just blows my mind that there's no chain of command
Mhm.
that they can go through to talk to her with any authority. Because
Okay. He was a producer. My bad.
because if she was hired to do this job and she had a manager, the
Yeah.
manager should be able to have a meeting with the employee at any time. Like, I
Mhm.
mean, this is unbelievable. And you can always say, well, you want HR there or something like that. But
Mhm.
I don't know. This is just so alien to me.
Yeah. Well, I'm interested to read this because it's
Mhm.
like, it sounds like he's going to be a little bit honest here about his holdbacks. Okay.
Sure.
So, Jamie, who was one of the producers, as I just Googled,
Mhm.
I respect your decision to not have a call. No problem at all. It is totally a problem. Okay. To be fully transparent, it was indeed a tough call to receive when asked to write a letter to the PGA. I do believe you can understand to some extent why that might be. However, we do want to be fair-minded and just to all parties. The truth is, you were incredible in the movie. Your performance is spectacular, and I hope that you get all the glory you deserve for it. Also, you have certainly added a great deal to the movie beyond the acting role itself.
Oh,
There's no
boy.
denying that. I feel like that's placating, but because I don't know that she actually provided anything beyond decent acting. But with that said, I have
Well,
consulted-
if you weren't hired to do that extra stuff,
Yeah.
that's a problem.
Yeah. Let's see. I have consulted further with Justin, and as a result, he and I have both agreed to write the letter. Please let me know to whom we should send. Moving forward, I will continue to respect the process of communication through your designated reps, but I felt compelled to reach out directly for this. Looking forward to the movie being a success for everyone involved. Jamie. Blake says, "Thank you, Jamie. I appreciate you both acknowledging the work. You can send the letters to me here or via email, and I'll pass along to the
How does this person not why do they not already have a process for
I don't know, dog.
PGA approval or whatever? Like, this blows my mind. Like, who do I send this to? Like, isn't this business as usual? Like, if you make a movie,
I actually don't know.
shouldn't you be doing this? Like, it just kind of blows my mind that all this stuff is so ad hoc.
Well, I'm assuming everybody in like everybody who was actually a producer on this film was already a member of the PGA. So maybe that's why. I don't know. Again, that's just my assumption. It's not.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know why he's asking her where he should send it. Like, doesn't he have a manager or someone at Sony or something? Like, it just blows my mind. There's no chain of command here. That's very obvious.
I have no idea. All right, let's see. You can send the letters to me, and I'll pass them along, basically, is what she said. After many conversations and once again feeling trapped, Baldoni and Heath write a letter of recommendation to the PGA. Heath simultaneously wrote a letter to his attorneys deriding the extortion by Lively. And then I guess here's his letter to this is a letter to the PGA.
Mhm.
It says, "We hope this letter finds you well. We're writing to inform you of the significant role and contributions that Blake Lively has played in the making of the film It Ends With Us, based on the best-selling novel by Colleen Hoover." I'm not going to read the whole thing, but
Yeah, it makes sense. P in the chat says PGA has a process. I'm not surprised. And it's like,
yeah, right.
I've had to write letters where I talk about, okay, an employee I had who's not a U.S. citizen worked for me. They worked for me from this date to this date. They have this expertise. I've had to write letters like that, verify employment, verify the knowledge or the work that they did was in a technical domain, meaning they need, they should get a visa or a green card or whatever it is, right? And there's always some entity out there that can direct you through the process. Like, I didn't know all the process, but through my role as a manager, I had to fulfill certain steps of it. And I always knew, it's like I got used to doing that. So I'm kind of surprised that these guys don't have that sort of familiarity here.
Right. Oh, man. All right. Blake has been very involved in the process, my bad. She continues to find creative ways to promote the film. All right. And then Jamie sends this called Private and Confidential PGA letter, which we need to zoom in a little bit more on. I'm writing to you all regarding a letter that I wrote on behalf of Justin and myself, addressed to the Producers Guild. As you know, we received a request to write a recommendation on behalf of Blake for her to receive the PGA mark. This was a request that we feel was unreasonable and cold-hearted. Essentially, the movie It Ends With Us has been taken unjustly from Justin as a director and essentially from Wayfarer's control due to the extortion of Blake. Without going into all the details of the events that have transpired over the months, Justin and I ended up agreeing to write the letter due to feeling trapped. She continues to hold a threat over our heads, and every time we try and hold a line, she uses that threat either directly or indirectly to get us to fold. Make no mistake, I am not suggesting that we were literally forced to acquiesce, but given the high profile of the movie, the partnership with Sony, the amount of money invested, and the need to complete the movie, we have written the letter on her behalf, omitting the truth of how and why she was able to contribute in the ways we listed. There is nothing to do with this letter now. It only serves as a way to memorialize why the letter was sent.
And what's the date on this? This is June 27th?
22nd, I think.
Or something like that.
27th or 22nd. Oh, yeah, 27th makes sense because it's...
This is amazing. This is like a bar complaint or an HR, this is like a whistleblowing sort of event here. This is kind of amazing.
June 28th, Heath, the CEO of Wayfarer. Oh, he's the CEO of Wayfarer. Okay. Expressed to the Forbes on June 28th his high hopes for the film. The article would later be released in August. It says, I hope that people leave the theater feeling inspired, that for those who have been hurt, that they feel seen and the story was told in a way that honored them. I feel like people who may in themselves, as someone that may hurt somebody, may think twice about it. So I hope that people leave feeling that they got a glimpse into a world that oftentimes we turn our eyes away from. I'm actually not sure why that was included in the complaint, but okay. June 28th, Lively and Reynolds' company Maximum Effort organized a content shoot for the film's promotional campaign with the entire cast and author of the book, minus Baldoni, of course. The content shoot included the cast making flower arrangements, baking cookies, playing Pictionary, collage making, and other concepts developed by the Maximum Effort team in support of the film's promotion. They later posed for seemingly staged paparazzi photos before having dinner together. And then
this is very interesting because now you have a third-party company doing something here.
Yeah.
And I wonder, was this third-party company supposed to do this? What is this? Like, why is this happening? They
I
were
mean, it
hired
sounds
by
like
Sony?
they're. Well, no,
Like,
it's Blake and Ryan's company.
no, I
Essentially.
get it, but like,
Yeah. I don't know.
this is just kind of amazing. This would be like if I don't know, if I bought a bunch of, I don't know, Dave Neal merchandise and went down to the corner market here at the Food Pods and tried to sell them or something. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Why is this happening?
Because Maximum Effort is owned by Ryan.
Yeah, but were they hired by Sony to do this? Like, what's the context? Like, this is unbelievable.
I don't think anybody had a choice but to hire them based on what happened. So, all right. By July 2024, Baldoni was completely locked out of the film's final cut. By virtue of his role at Wayfair, he was permitted to give notes as a studio. Despite his personal feelings, he redirected his thoughts to focus on the one positive. The film, years in the making, was very close to being seen by the world, even if it was no longer his film. The film's original editors informed Baldoni that the last they heard, she was putting back a fair amount of Baldoni's version into the final cut. Okay. And then I recall reading these texts about Justin saying, "We made a beautiful baby together. The baby might not grow up to be exactly who we thought, but it's still beautiful," like to his team. So that's sad. But July 2nd, on a Zoom conference between Wayfair and Sony, Wayfair learned that Sony had been dealing with extensive notes and revisions to the marketing plan as a result of the content shoot. Because Sony ended up hiring Reynolds' company, Maximum Effort, to produce the promotional content for the film, the cost for the shoot significantly increased due to their fee being higher than what Sony had originally budgeted. Notably, this charge was despite Lively's claim in a January 2023 text to Baldoni that Maximum Effort would work free for the family, as shown below. Oof.
Right. This is crazy. We're getting into this is like some mob level organized crime almost. I don't know.
As noted in the email, Sony did not have much opportunity to be involved in the shoot. Yep.
Wow.
Blake says Max Effort is on board to help us as much or as little as you want. Let me know. We have a great group over there who can help supplement and do the work that Sony won't, so we can just hand it to them between our collective resources. Justin says, ha ha ha, my kids are in the jinx phase right now. Oh no. I'm going to push to hire Max Effort. And then Blake says, but all is led by me, Ryan, and Redacted, so we'll make sure to weed out any lame ideas. They don't need to hire. Justin says, part of why I didn't want to die on this hill. Blake says, it's me and Ryan and Redacted. We work free for the family. Okay, I guess we saw that already. Yeah, it worked free for the family. It's mafia style. Well, that didn't work out the way.
I
don't think anyone would hope, yeah. Wayfair Marketing. It says, hi, here is a summary of what's shared during my bi-weekly with the digital and social team. The creative team has been dealing with extensive revisions based on feedback from Blake. Ryan's agency, Maximum Effort, is producing content, some of which will roll out on his handle. There was a shoot with 3 creators and the rest of the cast. Sony did not have much opportunity to be involved. Okay. Huh. Okay, July 10th. While dealing with the Baldoni's mounting PR headaches, Baldoni's publicist, Jennifer Abel, was also dealing with difficult working relationship with her employer, Stephanie Jones. And we read about that in the original lawsuit, so I'm not going to get too much into that.
Can I get Sony to just cut me a check and I can just do whatever I want and
apparently
have them not ask me too many questions? Like, because I'm into that. Sounds good.
Mm-hmm. Palaver Girl says, I'm so disappointed. I went to see Deadpool versus Wolverine with my son and thought it was great and funny. Now with Nice Pool explained, I want to vomit. I also really liked that movie, and I wouldn't have thought twice about it. Like, I never thought that was a knock towards any other actor. I just thought it was like random as hell and like weird, like kind of gross humor, like which is totally my style. But
yeah, was that Nice Pool stuff? Was that in the movie or was it in like a post-credit?
It was in the movie, except for the one. So I did a. Hang on, let me show you guys. It's a members only video now, so I'm gonna show it to you. Hang on, let's see.
Okay, but it was
Ryan Reynolds,
the body of the actual movie.
Yes, except for the first thing you're gonna see here. So this first thing you see is an outtake, but the rest of it is all in the movie. And this isn't even all the scenes, so I didn't include one of the scenes in here. I just described it, but. Yeah, give me 1 sec to.
So when they fix the blue screen, then it's in the movie. Yeah,
give me 1 second. We'll pop my head over there. Wait, actually, let me. And this is, again, like I said, it's the roast of Justin Baldoni in under 1 minute. So I didn't include every single second of it, but
Right.
yeah. Here.
I'd be fighting alongside them, but my calling is to one day host a podcast that monetizes the women's movement. But in here, everybody calls me Nice Pool. Oh my goodness, wait till you see Lady Pool. She is gorgeous.
So this
was in
on
the movie.
this was all in the movie except for those first 3 seconds. That was an outtake.
Yeah.
It was an outtake that circulated online. So
Sure.
But in here, everybody calls me Nice Pool. Oh my goodness, wait till you see Lady Pool. She is gorgeous. She just had a baby too, and can't even tell. I don't think you're supposed to say that. That's okay. I identify as a feminist, right?
Cassandra Nova invades Deadpool's mind and gains access to his memories by
Dang.
literally sticking her hand inside his head. Afterward, he yells, "And where in God's name is the intimacy coordinator?" Here's where it gets really bad. Blake Lively's character shoots and violently kills the Nice Pool, Justin Baldoni, alleged character.
Cozy time, baby.
And then he drags him back out to get shot some more.
Hey!
This doesn't seem like something illegal. It does seem very tacky and contradictory to the stuff that, Blake and Ryan have been alleging about Justin.
I'd be fighting alongside them, but my calling.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was it's pretty bad now that you look at it and think back on it. But like when I first saw the movie, of course, I had no idea that anything was referencing any other person they'd actually worked with.
Yeah, I mean, the more and more we're getting into this, and the more we'll see, we'll get more and more context, of course. So it'll all make a little more sense, hopefully.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see. This was from Stephanie Jones and Jennifer Abel. And I'm going to skip some of this stuff because we read it through the original lawsuit when it comes to like the PR stuff. July 11th, in anticipation of an in-person interview with a national publication that requested to follow him for a day in the life piece, Baldoni reaches out to the post-production house working on It Ends With Us to find a time for him to come in for a few minutes and do a mock coloring session. At the time, the coloring was nearly complete. This was all done in an effort to promote the film and, of course, highlight Baldoni as its director. However, when Lively was informed of this fake coloring session, she was incensed and demanded that Sony intervene and stop the interview from happening. Sony obliged, which left Baldoni and team disturbed by Lively's insertion into Baldoni's own marketing and promotional efforts for the film. Jesus. Let's see. Wayfair is informed that Reynolds contacted Baldoni's personal agent at WME. During the call, Reynolds escalates his attack on Baldoni's character, calling him a deranged predator. Yikes. Baldoni's agent relays to Wayfair that he did his best to reason with Reynolds and challenge the absurd claims, but Reynolds was unwilling to consider any counter-narrative. Reynolds reiterated that Baldoni should not attend the premiere on August 6th, stating, "No one wants him there." That's terrible. When Baldoni's agent shares this conversation with Baldoni and Heath, both are disturbed by Reynolds' continued efforts to damage Baldoni's reputation within the agency. July 17th, Baldoni attends Lily Bloom's pop-up shop at Westfield Century City to promote the film. Following the pop-up, Jones contacts Abel to check in. Abel shares that Baldoni is struggling and under immense pressure. Moreover, Baldoni is dealing with Ryan Reynolds calling Baldoni's agent and saying what a horrible person Justin is. Jesus. Okay. So here's some photos of like the promotion stuff. This is between Stephanie and
Pop-up.
Jennifer. Yeah. Ryan Reynolds is apparently constantly calling his agent redacted and saying what a horrible person Justin is. It's so weird. Okay. July 22nd, Lively, Reynolds, and other members of the film's cast attend the premiere for Deadpool and Wolverine. At the after party, Wayfair was informed that Reynolds approached a senior executive at WME and expressed his deep disdain for Baldoni, going as far to suggest that the agency is working with a sexual predator. Oof.
Gosh.
July 23rd, Sony informs Wayfair, the studio financing the premiere and most of the film, that Lively had demanded that Baldoni, Heath, and Wayfair refrain from attending the New York premiere and threatens a cast-wide boycott if they do. Oof. July 24th, mindful of the potential boycott and not knowing what Lively and Reynolds were planning, Abel emails the Wayfair team requesting Lively's November legal letter, correctly assuming that Lively would try to use the letter against Wayfair. With the letter in hand, Abel intends to draft context for each issue to ensure the team can factually refute any press leaks. Abel emphasizes a reactive strategy, acknowledging its drawbacks, and advises promptly countering any public claims with facts, third-party sources, and, if necessary, legal action. We will just need to be prescriptive in immediately refuting whatever is made public with facts, third-party sourcing on background, and, if necessary, a legal response. Upon receiving Lively's 17-item list, Abel clarifies that they are demands, not grievances. All right. And then
We've
here
seen
in
that
her,
before, yeah.
Yeah, in her letter, she said, to reiterate our strategy, we should not be to do anything proactive that could light our own fire unnecessarily. While it isn't ideal to be on the defense due to the ambiguity and uncertainty of what could potentially be claimed, we will just need to be prescriptive in immediately refuting whatever is made public with facts, third-party sourcing on background, and, if necessary, legal response. Oh, geez.
Like
Later that
Jennifer's
morning,
linguistics.
Jesus. Later that morning, at Wayfarer's request, Abel contacts Jones for crisis PR firm recommendations to represent Baldoni. All right. Wayfarer received several crisis PR recommendations, including Melissa Nathan, a veteran in the field. Abel, having previously worked with Nathan, endorses her based on their strong professional relationship. July 25th, still, Wayfarer meets with Nathan and her firm. The agency group tag. You guys know.
No.
You guys know how I feel about tags.
Tag is back.
And if you haven't watched the Laura Owen, please not read into that. Anyways, Wayfarer meets with Nathan and her firm, Tag. After the introductory call, Tag provided a document detailing the proposed scope of work. Right, like I said, we're going to skip over some of these PR emails that we saw already. Okay. Upon learning that Wayfarer was considering working with Melissa Nathan, Stephanie Jones, seeing her as competition, began pressuring Abel to intervene and tell Wayfarer that she was shady. Abel refused to do so, which only made Jones more irritated. All right, then.
Oh, no.
I'll see if there's anything new in here. Just spoke to Blink. Can I call you quickly? All right. Don't you think you should also text Jamie me redacted with how we feel? We always discuss how she doesn't lead with integrity. You say how shady she is all the time. Just kind of surprised you wouldn't weigh in with that. And Jennifer says she literally said she was into it with you and that she and Jamie were investigating. It wasn't that open of a call where she asked for my opinion, more of telling me what was going on and that she would keep me posted. And I said, okay, I'll call Steph. She just texted me. Okay. So they're all over that, but we've seen this kind of stuff. Let's see. July 26th. After extensive consultation and frustration over Reynolds and Lively's ongoing threats, Baldoni and Heath informed Sony that Wayfarer will attend its own premiere. Well, of course. But yeah. Given Lively's heavy promotion of the film, the likelihood of her boycotting seemed low, and her leverage appeared to be weakening as the event neared, or so they thought. However, Baldoni remained deeply anxious, fearing potential retaliation from Lively and Reynolds simply for attending his own premiere. That same day, an article surfaced about another director facing allegations of inappropriate on-set behavior. Baldoni forwarded the link to Abel, adding his own remarks. This is the shit I'm sure they want to do. Unnamed sources, etc. Okay.
Oh.
Next showing that. July 26th, amid the turmoil surrounding Baldoni and over 2 weeks after submitting her resignation, Abel emailed Jones to express gratitude and assure her of no ill will. However, she remained resolute in her decision to leave Jones Works. And I remember that from the original lawsuit. July 30th, Sony and senior marketing executives informed Heath and Abel that Lively has demanded Baldoni conduct his junket interviews on a different day than hers, further ostracizing Baldoni. Abel pushes back, arguing that this would signal to the press that something was wrong. Ultimately, Abel is able to find a compromise, and they agree Baldoni would conduct his interviews separately from the rest of the cast at a different hotel, but on the same day. That's so sad. That's so sad.
Oh my gosh. And that means that all these people have to, sit there and manage their Outlook calendars across 2 hotels. What a mess.
Not the Outlook calendar.
I know. What a logistical nightmare.
Okay, let's see. July 31st. Wow, July 31st. Social media detectives begin to notice Baldoni's absence from the promotional content being posted online. Yeah, it says, how come Ryle's character isn't in any of the promo stuff? Okay. August 2nd, recognizing the extreme measures Lively and Reynolds were taking to undermine Baldoni, excluding him from the premiere and press tour, spreading negative rumors within his agency, isolating him from cast events and promotions, and engaging in strong-arm tactics to take control of the film, Baldoni and Heath decide to retain Nathan and Tag. Baldoni and Heath did so after Abel learned from Nathan that a negative story was being circulated among media contacts, labeling Baldoni's religion as a cult and accusing him of fat-shaming Lively. In response, Tag prepared a scenario planning document with rapid response strategies, key messaging, and other standard crisis PR deliverables. Feeling uneasy, Baldoni texts Abel for reassurance. She responds in part, "Truth is your defense." Okay.
Wait, so if I want to get into PR, I just need to call the opposition a cult? Is that what I'm learning from these cases?
I don't know. Try it and let me know how it goes.
No.
All right. PR thread with Tag, and then she's showing what they just described in the email up there. Jennifer Abel said down here, "The truth is your defense. You have done nothing wrong. There's over a year worth of facts and paper trails and people who can go on background as your defense. This document is an overview. And I think as the situation evolved and as it has become, realize the great lengths she has gone to in order to cut you out of not just the film, but promo, the premiere, etc. We need to prepare as if she will also go through any great lengths with press. It's a good thing if we all prepare for the worst outcome, because then, if and when it's not as bad, we are over-prepared." Okay. In her CRD complaint, Lively cherry picks text messages between Abel and Nathan, stripping the exchange of critical context. I remember this because we went over all what was excluded between the two lawsuits, so I won't waste too much time on that while we're going over this amendment to the lawsuit. August 3rd, social media chatter begins to intensify with users questioning why is Justin not in any of the promos, so they continue to ask about that.
I mean, so far this Jennifer Abel seems very professional. I don't know. Well,
yeah.
But anyway.
Abel and Nathan commiserate about the situation, with Abel jokingly suggesting they plant negative pieces about Lively. While Nathan understands Abel's comments are lighthearted, she responds seriously, advising they wait to see how the next few days unfold and stay vigilant. Nathan also notes being aware of a story from Lively's camp intended to hurt Baldoni's reputation. Both agree to stay alert and avoid taking any hasty actions. Okay, and I remember that stuff. August 5th, Baldoni's first full day of press began before 6 a.m. Oh my God, that's a long day. Later that morning, he shared a link with Abel to an article on celebrity bullying that had appeared on his Twitter feed. Given the circumstance that Baldoni had found himself in, the article's timing resonated with him as he was understandably feeling bullied, so he took a screenshot and sent it to Abel. And there's a screenshot right there.
That article is not about him. It's just something
It's just something about celebrity bullying.
Sort of identified with. Okay,
right.
I think I understand.
Mm-hmm. Okay. August 5th. That evening, unbeknownst to Baldoni and Wayfarer, Lively and the rest of the cast attended a meta screening of the film at the Roxy Hotel. The event includes a Q&A session with Colleen Hoover and the cast, with everyone except Baldoni. This exclusion further highlights Baldoni's deliberate sidelining. Fans and journalists quickly noticed the absence of the film's director and co-lead, sparking online chatter and fueling rumors about tensions behind the scenes. The incident underscores the growing divide and continuing efforts to exclude Baldoni from the film's promotion. Okay. At the premiere of the film in New York, Baldoni is instructed to walk the carpet separately from the rest of the cast. So we have all seen this pretty much before. He's ushered off, and they had to watch it in like a basement. He and his friends and family had to watch from a basement. Articles about a potential cast feud start coming out on August 7th. They take notice that the cast had unfollowed Baldoni.
I mean, it reminds me of when on Vanderpump Rules, there were people who sort of had, temporary restraining orders or whatever against each other.
Yeah.
And so they're trying to film one of these things, like a postseason reunion show. But they have to like shepherd people in and out because they can't be within 500 feet of each other, right? But in this case, they don't even have those. Like, there's no order of protection, restraining orders. I mean, this is it blows my mind again. I don't know.
Let's see. And then we're looking at this is just showing that there were rumors about a cast feud. It ends with us fans are convinced there's a huge feud. Here's why. And then when people started talking about it. Let's see. And then we have more messages between Stephanie Jones.
Like
and
Kendrick Lamar says, the audience is not dumb.
All right. August 8th, at 10:11, Nathan and Lively's publicist, Leslie Sloan, reached an agreement whereby neither will communicate directly with a reporter prior to informing the other. I remember that from the original lawsuit. It says, I'm not doing anything without speaking to you, which is what Sloan said to Nathan and Lively. Or no, sorry, not Nathan and Lively, to Wayfarer's publicist people. Let's see. To divert attention from Lively's tyrannical behavior on set, Sloan attempts to portray Baldoni as the antagonist, stating the whole cast doesn't like Justin, nothing to do with Blake. I don't know if that's true. I'm going to say no, but you know.
Yeah, we're going to need an audience survey on that, right?
She doubles down, insisting, I'm telling you she's a liar. They are panicking as the whole cast hates him. Sloan also threatens the reporter, saying the entire cast I will have go on the... Oh, my bad.
Oh, no.
What did I just do? I hit a button.
Back at the beginning, yeah.
Mouse. No, we're going down here. I'm not doing that. Hang on. My bad, guys.
We saw that, yeah.
Was around here somewhere. Correcting and updating stories.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they unfollowed Baldoni, so we got past there. Online chatter.
Mm-hmm.
Got past
saw
there. And I think it was down here.
Mm-hmm. There it is.
Okay. I'm telling you she's a liar. They're panicking as the whole cast hates him. Sloan also threatened the reporter, saying the entire cast I will have go on the record. This needs to hold. Nathan's text with Sloan say, Melissa Nathan says, Melissa. Why is Melissa Nathan saying Melissa? Happy to. I land in less than 2 hours. Thank you. Have a safe flight. Just also, I'm not doing one thing without speaking to you. I'm not answering one email about this situation. I've told everyone to not do one thing /plant/seed, even speak to one reporter, even on background. Now I'm involved. There will be no shock surprises to you. So that's from Melissa to Leslie. All right. Sloan's text with the Daily Mail reporter. So after getting that text from Melissa Nathan saying she's not going to basically not talk to any reporters or anything without, talking to Sloan first, Sloan texts the Daily Mail reporter saying, have to talk about some stuff that came in from reporters read Blake and her new movie drama. Well, it's a lot to text, but it's regarding problems on the set involving her and Justin and fallout over that with Blake being labeled difficult and a power struggle existing. Leslie Sloan says that's 1000% untrue, but I don't want to go on record. Daily Mail reporter says never on record. Okay.
Oh boy.
Leslie says your info is totally off. All Leslie had to do was not respond. But okay. The reporter says there's clearly something going on because it's cold from 3 reporters and none of them are me. Okay. I'm just the only one not afraid to reach out to you. LOL. You have it all wrong. Your reporters are so wrong. Leslie says. Okay, I'm just being straight up with you because that is how I roll. Okay. Always, I'm coming to you because I actually like Blake and don't want Daily Mail to fuck with her. Yeah, I'm sure that's not a tactic at all. Leslie says, yes, please, as this info is all wrong. She didn't require script runs, nothing to do with this. She produced the film and got a cut. What the fuck is going on? The whole cast doesn't like Justin, nothing to do with Blake. Damn, Leslie. Damn.
Ooh.
That same day, Jones attempting to reinsert herself into Baldoni and Wayfarer's good graces while sidelining Abel, despite both representing the same firm, contacts a Daily Mail reporter about a story on Baldoni and Lively. Abel, at the direction of Baldoni and Wayfarer, previously instructed Jones not to speak to the press due to the fragile truth with Lively's team. Despite this, Jones brags to Wayfarer about trading calls at the Daily Mail to appear engaged with the account. Notably, at the time, Wayfair and Abel were unaware that Sloan had breached her agreement with Nathan. Sloan and Sony later discovered that someone from Baldoni's team had been communicating negatively to the media. It was clear that Jones was the source, and Wayfair's leadership, along with Sony, were livid. All parties were desperate to avoid an all-out conflict between Lively and Baldoni, just as the film was about to be released. Okay. And this is just an email from another reporter.
And this is another thing I learned as a manager. If you sit there with your employee, like if there's rumors going around, like you can't, they're going to go around. And it's best to address them rather than to try and pretend they don't exist, right?
Yeah.
Or pretend that people aren't talking to each other, because of course they are. Or to pretend that certain people don't know something, because of course certain people know something.
Yeah.
And yeah, you just have to be realistic about it. And that is what will help you develop trust with your employees.
Yeah. Well, that clearly didn't work out here.
No, this is a interesting case. You know, there's a lot of fog of war happening here, because this is when the movie's about to come out. So there's a lot of background that we've read through in this timeline that none of these people, like at the newspaper or whatever, or some of these PR people are even aware of. So there's sort of this fog of war effect. And there's actually a documentary about Robert McNamara and the fog of war. I think it would be interesting watching for people if they're interested in that kind of thing.
Okay, so one second. I was texting my dad. Anyways, here they're saying, or Jamie Heath is saying, do not contact anyone at all. I'm sorry for being direct, but I need to be direct. I don't want any messaging with anyone right now. And Stephanie says, I have not spoken to Daily Mail. The above isn't true. Okay, well, clearly that's not exactly how it went down. Okay. Nathan and Abel are left to deal with the fallout from Jones inserting herself into the situation. And then these are the texts between Jennifer and, let's see. I'm trying to make sure there's nothing we haven't seen before here yet, but I'm pretty sure we saw all this in the original lawsuit. When it comes to the publicity stuff,
this new document definitely does put it in some new context for sure.
Yeah. August 8th, crisis mitigation specialist Jed Wallace is engaged to assess and monitor all online and offline concerns related to. Oh my God, I just did it again. Okay.
Lauren.
I'm sorry. Hang on. I got this.
What are you hitting, the home key or something? I'm going to pry that off your keyboard.
No, because I have this gaming mouse with, it's got.
Oh, you got the gaming mouse with 900 buttons?
It's got 5 extra side buttons. Sorry. Then the middle click. I'm working.
You know, my buddy Nick, he loves those gaming buttons with all the buttons. I can't handle them. I need like 2 buttons. That's all I want.
Yeah, right.
I want to right click for a powerful attack. That's it.
No, I need all the buttons because I can't. My little tiny baby hand, so I can't use all the keys.
Oh, geez.
All right.
You just need WASD.
Yeah.
And maybe
so we got through this part.
Or Q.
All right. Where were we? We were in August. We got past August 8th, didn't we?
PH Joy says we have to guard our loins.
Guard our loins?
I don't.
What does that mean, bro?
I don't know. I mean, it's good advice. It's just.
Yeah. I mean, sure, but in
like
context.
right now, Sunday night. Okay, I got a pot roast cooking. I'm gonna guard my loins from that.
Can I have some?
Yeah.
Okay.
Come on over.
Sure. No problem. I'll be there in 24 hours.
Oh boy.
Or however long it takes to drive to Oregon from Florida.
Yeah. Gird my loins. I don't know. Like I gotta wear them.
Okay.
Cod piece.
We'll start here.
Cod fish and chips. What am I doing?
Nathan and Lively's publicist Leslie reached an agreement where neither will communicate directly with a reporter, so we got past that. The same day, Jones attempted to reinsert herself into Baldoni and Wayfarer's good graces while sidelining Abel. All right. And then I'm pretty sure this is where we're at. It says Stephanie Jones to Redacted and Jamie Heath and Justin Baldoni. It says left word for Redacted. She's been very nice in the past, so we'll get this fixed. Redacted says back, "Hi, I'm a reporter for dailymail.com, and I'm currently working on a story surrounding the recent rumors that there was a feud between It Ends With Us co-stars Blake and Justin. People on social media are talking about how they didn't pose together at the premiere or do any press together.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to give you a chance to respond
Valid.
to these rumors. Please let me know if you have any comments. Thank you."
Oh, Jennifer, this is your moment. We're counting on you, Jennifer.
All right. Stephanie says, "Blank has been nice and fixed things for us in the past. I can give her a call. That's a nothing burger."
There we
Doesn't
go.
seem to have been a nothing burger. But,
Stephanie.
Stephanie says,
Stephanie
and
is
we all know.
underestimating the situation.
Stephanie
It's fine.
says, "We all know I would never say Blake is to blame. I'll contact Sony Comms now, as I know this isn't true." Jamie, this is where Jamie says, "Do not contact anyone right now. I'm sorry for being direct, but I need it to be direct." August
Interesting.
8th, Nathan and Abel are left to deal with the fallout from Jones inserting herself into the situation. God, I remember seeing that in the original lawsuit, so we'll scroll past here. August 8th, Crisis Mitigation Specialist Jed Wallace, this is where we're, is engaged to assess and monitor all online and offline concerns related to Baldoni and Wayfair, specifically pertaining to information received about a developing campaign to discredit and damage Justin, including his Baha'i faith and Wayfair. Given the importance of the film to Baldoni and Wayfair, its success, and the critical support it would bring to the domestic violence survivor community, Wallace is asked to focus on analyzing online feedback and monitoring the overall sentiment related to Wayfair, Baldoni, Lively, and others working on the film. Okay. We're going to skip through the PR stuff that we've already seen.
Oh my goodness.
August 9th, Heath calls Jones to clarify that due to the sensitivity of the situation, he feels more comfortable with Abel leading communications rather than Jones. Heath reiterates that Jones should refrain from taking any action on behalf of Baldoni or Wayfair until further notice. At the time, Heath was in Chicago with Baldoni and Abel, and they all agreed that Abel, with firsthand knowledge and the most up-to-date information, was the best person to handle communications. All right, let's keep moving.
This is another thing, it goes back to the too many cooks in the kitchen problem that I mentioned before, which is common across different businesses, as well as when you're dealing with multiple groups that have to work together that don't work together on a daily basis. For example, the press versus a production company. You really do want a single point of contact through which to funnel communication. That's very important.
All right, let's see. August 9th, Nathan, consistent with the pair's agreement, sends a text to Sloan containing an email she received from the Daily Mail reporter. Unbeknownst to Nathan, this was the same reporter with whom Sloan had been communicating the day prior. August 9th, during a red carpet interview with the New York premiere, Lively stated, "The iconic rooftop scene, my husband actually wrote it," which Ryan Reynolds should not have written that at all. Nobody knows that, she said. This revelation regarding Reynolds' purported contribution to the script raised eyebrows at Sony, who told Wayfair that they certainly needed some clarity on public comments made about Ryan Reynolds potentially contributing writing services for the rooftop scene.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean, that could have legal consequences, security consequences.
I remember
a lot of this Hollywood stuff is unions. And you could be in violation of union agreements and other legal contracts. This is very serious business.
Well, it sounded like if he had done that, it also would have been during the writing strike. So that would have been a problem.
I mean, that's a whole other layer related to, again, the unions.
Yeah. August 9th, on the day of the domestic release of the film, Heath shares observations with Sony's marketing, urging them to take the topic of domestic violence more seriously as part of the film's rollout. This was a concern that Baldoni, Heath, and Wayfair had long expressed to the team. In this email, it says, "As you know, this has always been a concern of ours, and I think we might agree there's enough response to at least consider giving it a bit more thought." The reason for that was that Blake's promo for the film was a little tasteless in regards to the domestic violence audience. The promo here says, "Grab your friends, wear your florals," like it's some fun chick flick, but it is actually a very emotional film about domestic violence.
Well,
so,
did she actually write that, or because that's coming out of the movie account, not her account.
I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure she had something to do with it because she had taken over at this point. So, and her statements as well in some of the stuff that she was doing for promotion, and she also named a drink because she has an alcohol company. She named a drink after the perpetrator of the domestic violence in the movie, which was striking some people as tasteless as well because alcohol plays a role in a large portion of domestic violence incidences. So people kind of, also got upset about that. So she was just not doing very well with the marketing.
Yeah, Chad is saying that quote came either from her saying it in interviews as well as potentially from the production company, the Maximum Effort production company, which apparently was sort of hired by Sony, but I'm a little confused if she said they weren't going to get paid, but then they got paid a lot of money. I don't know.
Yeah, very.
Can I get some of that money? I mean,
right. Tag and Abel continue to monitor online chatter.
Grab your Carhartts and grab a moose.
We're gonna
get some money. I don't
know. We read this stuff in the original complaint, so I won't go through that. Let's see. August 11th, Baldoni felt it was important to stay on message, as he had during the film's junket press tour from August 4th to 9th. Despite a purported feud or the focus on the film's box office success, Baldoni sought to redirect attention to domestic violence survivors. He sends a text to the social media team urging them to focus their efforts on this topic. He says, "Good morning, team. So I was thinking about the response to this weekend, and I feel what we should do is make sure to emphasize the voices of the survivors. It's going to be a lot of buzz, how much money the movie made, but I want to be the one that always directs this back to the survivors. So I would love to come up with some sort of video or carousel of messages from survivors and the response to the film." August 11th, Heath follows up on his email to Sony from August 9th, expressing his gratitude for the team's efforts. He requests, however, that they schedule a call to discuss the film's messaging. All right. August 12th, organic articles emerged directly related to how Lively was promoting the film. And then it says here, here's what's going on with the It Ends With Us drama. Is this BuzzFeed? It looks like a Daily Mail here.
On August 12th?
Yeah, looks like.
Okay. So the press is, going after this drama because the drama will get clicks, of course.
Oh, yeah. August 12th, WME, Abel, and Heath discuss yet another conversation between WME and Reynolds. WME shares that Reynolds and Lively are furious with Wayfair and Baldoni for positioning them as promoting the film as a Barbie film while elevating Baldoni to speak on the more serious messaging. That's funny because it was their fault they took that approach, That evening, two WME executives, Heath and Abel, participate in a call to review the statement drafted by Lively and Reynolds on behalf of Baldoni, Heath, and Wayfair. So this is where they demanded this apology letter, guys. Blake and Ryan and their company demanded this apology letter from Justin and Wayfair Studios, which is just bizarre. Let's see.
And this is way after the movie has come out, or well, at least after the movie is premiered. Correct?
Yeah, it's August 12th.
Not way after, but
right.
After they've done all this work in production, they've done this 18-point agreement, they've done all the editing. Oh my gosh.
So this was 3 days after the movie had premiered already. Statement prepared by Blake and Ryan on behalf of Baldoni, Heath, and Wayfair. It says, so this is supposed to be coming from Justin. They're like, Justin, you put out the statement. It says, "It Ends With Us was a troubled production, which we take full accountability for. We are very sorry to everyone we caused upset to privately and publicly. Blake Lively, Colleen Hoover, the entire cast and crew led with professionalism every step of the way. Any negativity aimed at them is ours to own. We mutually agreed that the cast would be promoting the film separately and understood why."
Oh, that doesn't sound right. So this blows my mind because they took his name off all these posters, right? He had to go in the basement in the premiere, but then they want him to put his name on this, which is just throwing himself under the bus. This isn't just throwing himself under the bus. This is like renting, I don't know, a Sherman tank and getting somebody to drive it over himself.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you, Winks, for reminding me. If you guys are watching, if you could hit the like button for me, it would help my channel out a lot. But yeah, let's read the rest of the letter. But this is crazy. We'll zoom in a little bit. Let me see, make sure our heads aren't in the way. Okay. It ends with us with a trouble production, blah, blah, blah. Okay, here we go. We mutually agreed that the cast would be promoting the film separately and understood why. Mutually agreed.
If they have evidence of that, they need to bring it into these court documents.
Right.
Because we've seen evidence in this document that's counter to that. But of course, they can respond.
Yeah. We have always said we are not perfect, and even if unintentionally make mistakes, we will always own them. We hold ourselves accountable. It's not anyone's job but ours, and that's part of being man enough, which is kind of
That's horrible.
that's kind of throwing salt at his
That's
podcast.
just-
Justin's podcast.
Wait, what is his podcast called?
I think it's called Man Enough. Hang on.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Or something like that. Justin's podcast. Justin Baldoni's podcast. Hang on.
It's got to be because it's in quotes. Why would they put it in quotes otherwise?
Yeah, it's the Man Enough podcast. So that's pretty fucking rude, but all right.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
Yeah. And part
That's-
of being man
yeah.
enough.
That's
we will-
cutting deep.
Yeah, we will practice what we preach. We are learning and growing from the experience, and we thank everyone for their patience as we find a better way to proceed. We are very proud of the film and the welcome arms that it's been received. Well, that's just not grammatically. Okay, whatever. Part of our work is to have uncomfortable conversations for public growth. The film is doing that on screen, and we are doing that off screen. Thank you to the cast and crew of Bubble for the opportunity to be imperfect and to be given the space to learn and grow with humanity and dedication. So they wanted them to sign this and put it out there as a statement from them.
Ooh, I love a rusty nail. I think if they were going to publish any sort of apology, they should apologize for not making all of their actors and actresses sign their actors agreement before beginning production.
Mhm.
That seems like the fundamental mistake in this case.
That's crazy, man. This is so crazy. All right, August 12th, Abel shares with Nathan that Blake and Ryan want Justin to put out a statement. So that's the statement there. August 13th, the Daily Mail publishes an article titled Blake Lively Goes into Damage Control by Finally Addressing the Domestic Violence, and it ends with us amid criticism over tone-deaf film promo. This follows Lively's post to moviegoers, which includes statistics on domestic violence and a link to resources for support. The information remained on her story for 24 hours. Okay. August 13th, the New York Post contacts Nathan for a comment regarding competing cuts and on-set feuds. The information provided is inaccurate. Lively did not have final edit approval, nor was she given Sony's cut. In reality, Sony did not have a studio cut, rather. Wayfair and Sony shared a studio cut. Okay. Should the director's cut not perform well in audience screenings, the studios collectively held the right to re-cut the film. However, this never occurred, as Lively used her promotional efforts to secure the final cut. All the information Leslie provided to the New York Post was false and misleading. And I remember this stuff too. Yeah.
So remind me now, we saw 3 different edits get screened, right? We saw Justin's 90% approval. We saw what, an 81%, and then it went up to 84 or something.
I think it was like, so there was, I think it was 92 for Justin's, 92 or 94, and then for Blake's it was 82, and then 83.
It bumped up. What actually got released? Which of those 3?
Blake's third one, I think.
The third one in that list.
The 83%. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Interesting. And the studio and Sony was okay with that. Okay.
I mean, I think they kind of had to be. You know, it doesn't sound like anybody really had a choice at this point. Yeah.
Well, they mentioned this contract where they could redo it if you don't like the numbers, but I don't know what what their numbers were.
Going to work out.
Yeah.
The Hollywood Reporter publishes a story naming Nathan as Baldoni's crisis PR representative, drawing a comparison between Baldoni and Nathan's previous client, Johnny Depp.
Oh boy.
And I got to tell you, Amber Heard has come out and voiced some, I don't know if it was full on support or skepticism for like Blake Lively, but like, you don't want Amber Heard on your side, because even if you believe both Johnny and Amber were guilty, Amber is an asshole. So I'm sorry, that's just my opinion. I can't really like say I agree with anybody saying that Amber was totally the abused one, whatever, because at the very least, Amber was also a piece of shit. So whether or not you think Johnny Depp was a piece of shit, to me, I feel that Amber Heard is a piece of shit.
I mean, the thing that really bothered me was the whole pledged versus donate thing, because I'm very pedantic about words.
No.
I mean, this may come as a surprise to you, Lauren.
I'm shocked.
But you could imagine how I would react to the whole pledged versus donated, or I saw Dr. Higley, or I made an appointment with Dr. Higley thing.
Yeah.
Those things really bother me. So I understand.
Right. Let's see. We're skipping over some of the PR stuff here, like I said. Let's go. August 14th, as discussed here and above, early August 2024, Jones inserted herself into the situation, attempting to sideline Nathan and Abel. The issue, however, was that Jones had deliberately distanced herself from Wayfarer's leadership communication strategy and internal decision-making, citing her focus on higher-profile clients. Wayfarer had no objection to Jones' disengagement, as Abel was their trusted advisor, and they had no interest in becoming entangled in Jonesworks' internal politics. Furthermore, Jones had been on a family vacation during the critical period of the press campaign and film premiere. Despite her physical distance, Jones' attempts to intervene were clumsy, unwelcome, and sporadic.
Oh my.
I'm going to skip over some of this PR stuff that we've seen. A journalist from TMZ contacts Nathan and Abel on August 14th, requesting comment regarding 3 HR complaints filed against Justin Baldoni on the set. That same day, Nathan receives inquiries from reporters about multiple HR complaints from set. This was not true. Okay. And that's just the evidence of the TMZ.
Oh boy, TMZ has entered the chat.
Well, they're always trustworthy, aren't they? August 14th, Baldoni sends Abel a TikTok from her creator suggesting that Baldoni is involved in something bad. Baldoni is just as confused as the rest of his team about the nature of this bombshell.
Mm-hmm.
Abel replies, "That is the question of the century," and reassures him, saying, "There is no bombshell, as you know," while confirming that she and the team are closely monitoring the situation. And then there's just the text between them about the TikTok. Let's see, August 14th, Baldoni texts Nathan seeking clarity on what's happening, what the strategy is, and how the ongoing feud can be resolved. Nathan explains that she spoke with Sloane and asked for her perspective on a solution. Nathan observes that when Baldoni is respectful, they, Ryan and Blake, don't like it. And when he plays by their rules, they still don't approve. She questions what do they want. Nathan further clarifies to Baldoni that she left the matter with Sloane, asking her to indicate what course of action she prefers. Nathan emphasizes that she is willing to work with Sloane, either collaboratively, or to protect Baldoni and Wayfarer. Until something is leaked or wrongfully put out by Lively's team, Nathan and her team will not take further action. And here's just the text where they're discussing that. Justin says, "I said to Leslie on the phone, you tell us what you think the solution is here. He is respectful. They don't like he plays by their rules. They don't like what do they like." Okay. And that was from her to Justin. Sorry. Okay. And then here she says, "I left it last night as, please come back to us and tell us because we are baffled. We will do whatever it takes to either work with you or protect Justin and the studio if anything wrongly leaked and put out there. But until then, we are not doing anything."
Mm-hmm.
Okay. On August 14th, Nathan receives word from a reporter that Sony chief Tony, how do you say that last name? Vinciquerra, maybe?
Yeah.
Made a statement about Lively being an advocate for domestic violence with no mention of Baldoni in the piece. Nathan immediately senses Sloane's involvement in this development. However, Abel suggests that it is Reynolds who likely pressured Sony into issuing the statement.
Oh boy. The chess pieces are behind the curtain at this point.
It seems that way.
Yeah, and I mean, these places like, say what you will about TMZ or whoever, but they're all just trying to figure it out, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if they get some information, they're going to take a look at it. Like, let's look at it. This is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
And, we may get more information later.
And
they're just trying to figure it out at this point in August.
Yeah. Here it's just talking about the articles that have came out in response to Lively's promotion, where it's saying people are grossed out by her, press tour, or why is everyone mad at Blake? Fans are not impressed with Blake, which we know is because of the grab your floral shit. So August 16th, Nathan receives a message from a reporter about a story from the Daily Mail. Could Blake Lively be canceled? Nathan, realizing that the article could give the impression of having been planted by her, laments, "Damn, this is unfair because it's also not me." The reporter responds, "No, it totally does look like his side." Nathan shares a screenshot of her conversation with the reporter with Abel. The two of them sarcastically joke, "You really outdid yourself with this one."
Wait, is this the reporter that wrote the story? Or is this a different reporter?
I don't know if it's the same reporter. It's the same outlet, though, the Daily Mail.
Oh, my goodness.
Right. The two of them sarcastically joke, "You really outdid yourself with this one." Nathan responds, "That's why you hired me, right?" And then they're saying that what was omitted from Lively's complaint was the sarcastic upside down smiley emoji, which is like basically saying, "I didn't really do that, obviously." Um,
So this implies that that is the reporter that wrote this story.
well, I don't know. I can't really tell. Let's see. August 18th, Baldoni
gosh.
again asked Nathan to confirm this is not us. Correct. Baldoni was seeing the feud rumors and could not believe how much heat Lively was getting.
Mhm.
Nathan reassures him that none of us would ever do this.
Okay.
August 19th, Angela Yang, Blake Lively's It Ends With Us promotion, called disrespectful by some survivors of abuse. August 19th, Jones Work Chief of Staff promises to release Abel's phone number to her. So we got through the Abel stuff with the phone number in the original lawsuit, so I'm not going to go over that too much. August 20th, more organic negative press about Blake. And then, let's see. I'm going to ask you, can you read from August 21 to the end of this next page?
Yeah.
I'll be
Oh
right
my
back.
gosh, guys. These PR people have to have ice water in their veins. I
Yeah.
wonder if
You
they'd
need
be
to
willing
zoom in
to
a little
take
bit.
over, place kicking duties for the Green Bay Packers next season. Okay, what is my dog doing? Okay, we're on August 21st, 2024. What's going on, guys? On August 21st, 2024, 2 days before her last day, Abel pulls up to the Joneswork office before her last day. That's some foreshadowing. Pulls up to the Joneswork office in Beverly Hills, as one does, just cruising around Beverly Hills. There, she is confronted by a physically imposing security guard, a lawyer sitting at a conference table covered in documents, an IT professional. Oh my gosh, where's Brad when we need him? And Jones' chief of staff, who has flown in unannounced from New York. Oh, New York to LA, guys. Oh boy, jet setting. Apart from Jones's chief of staff, Abel had never seen any of them before. Oh, this is rough. This is like when the Green Bay Packers have to kick the game-winning field goal with 2 seconds left. After being ushered into the conference room, Abel sees that the security guard is posted just outside its doors, blocking the exit. Oh no. Is there a fire escape? In a menacing and cold tone. Oh my gosh. Somebody should make a movie just about this alone. The attorney points to the documents and tells Abel to review and sign them. Oh no. The attorney claims that Joneswork believes she had proprietary information on her personal laptop and will likely have grounds to sue if Abel does not allow them access. Never put work documents on your personal devices, people. Never do it. Not even like a thumb drive or something. This is my advice to you as a manager. Okay, next page. Completely caught off guard by this hostile and intimidating display, Abel falls into a state of shock. Uh-oh. She has never experienced anything like this and does not know what to do. Fearful that she will burst into tears and humiliate herself, which she knew was what Jones wants. Abel disassociates. Oh my gosh. Knowing she has not done anything wrong and desperate to get out of there, Abel signs the documents without digesting their contents. Oh no, guys. Oh no, never. No, don't sign these crazy documents without reading them first. Oh my gosh. That's another tip. Always take like a 24 hours before you, if possible. Or have your own legal counsel to help you sign documents if you don't have 24 hours. Let's see. Of course, I don't know if she knew she was going in here to sign documents. Afterward, the lawyer demands that Abel hand over her personal laptop. Her personal laptop. No. Abel complies, and the IT professional conducts a search that turns up nothing. Oh, this is very interesting. And what you want is you need a receipt of that finding. That's what you need. You need a copy of the IT professional's report is what you need at that point. So always get receipts. When these things happen to you and you're working at a job and something's happening, always get a receipt, guys. That's my other advice to you. Abel complies and the IT professional conducts a search, turns up nothing. The attorney then presents Abel with a list of approximately 10 documents and accuses her of having accessed and stolen them. Oh my goodness. Abel denies having done so, and the IT specialist conducts a further search for a laptop, which again turns up nothing. This is, oh dear, we need more documents about this. Long way to Tipperary, says Bruce has a nice voice. Thank you so much. Okay, we got another big paragraph here. What's my dog doing? He's out of control. The attorney then instructs Abel to hand over her phone, another personal device, presumably, after which kind of blows my mind. Everybody's texting about all this stuff. Like, maybe this is a work phone. Like, also, don't text about work matters on your personal device, guys. Use a work phone if you need to do that. After which security would escort her out of the building. Still utterly shell-shocked and desperate to get out of there, Abel agrees to hand over her phone so long as they will confirm that Joneswork will immediately release her personal cell phone number, allowing Joneswork to take possession of the physical device without gaining unrestrained access to its contents. And this is why, like, you know, when I was working and you wanted to have like your work email or your work calendar on your phone, the way it would work is they would set up sort of this quarantine thing, sort of like a virtual private network or a device. I don't know what to call it, like hard drive security almost for your phone. And that way, for example, if you are using your phone and it has work information on it and you lose it, your IT department can wipe it remotely and you won't lose any work information. Conversely, you can also say, hey, I want this work stuff off my phone, and you can just get rid of it. And then you can go keep using your device as a personal device.
You guys don't like to combine your work and personal devices?
Yeah, you want this firewall, is what they sort of call it colloquially, between your personal phone information or your personal laptop and any work information. And ideally, of course, with work, you want a work laptop and a personal laptop.
Mm-hmm.
And you want all that. So then let's see. It will also enable Abel to get a new phone and move on with her life without undue disruption. I mean, yeah, she's just trying to make sure she can keep her phone number. You know what I mean? Like, you know, count 212, whatever.
It's extremely unreasonable.
Abel pleads with Jones to release her number in a text the following day. Oh my gosh. So she's basically saying, like, keep the hardware. Like, I'm giving you here's my Pixel 6. Just give me my number so I can go get a Pixel 9 tomorrow. Like, blows my mind. Like, this is not how anything should work with an employer.
Right.
Anyway, I'm at the end of the page here.
All right.
Good golly.
Okay, and then here's just a text message where she's talking about the release of the phone number, which, well, I remember when I originally saw this in the original lawsuit, I was like, a 904 number? She's from where I'm from, because we have 904 number around here. So that's Duval County, or, you know, Orange Park outside of Duval County. So maybe she's a Jags fan, maybe she's not. If she's not, then, you know, good for her. She made it out. But some of us
go Pack go. I can't believe they had a security guard standing outside blocking her exit. Like, this lady has like ice water in her veins. I don't know.
Ice water, meth, I don't know.
Come work for the Packers.
Anyways. August 21st, on the same day that Abel's phone is seized by her employer, Stephanie Jones, Nathan receives a call from Leslie Sloan, Lively's publicist, telling her that she has seen her text and that she will be sued.
Oh my goodness. Seen her texts.
August 23rd, Baldoni sends Nathan a suspicious profile suspecting it of trolling Lively. Nathan confirms it's 100% is not anyone from your team whatsoever. And then the profile that he sent was, I don't know if we can see it. We can try. Yeah, we can't really see it when we zoom in. It doesn't. You can't even really read the username there. It says, this is an example of someone trolling Blake on all my posts, but it doesn't seem like a real account. Melissa Nathan says, yes, it could be an actual troll, as they exist too. Troll in the dungeon. Just saying. But yes, 100%. But this is not anyone from your team whatsoever.
Yeah.
On August 24th, Nathan's tag team continues to see organic backlash towards Lively without the involvement of tag. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, trolls will be on the internet trolling.
And
guess
then
what? It doesn't mean they're part of a cult.
Right, yeah. They could be
they're
part
just
of a troll
trolling.
Cult. Are trolls organized enough to be in a cult? I don't think so.
They could be, but they don't have to be. That's
I feel like I don't know any trolls that like have cult-like organization capabilities.
Like, if you find a troll, you can't assume they're in a cult. You have to provide evidence beyond that for another assertion.
I'm gonna have to start trolling, and I'll be like undercover boss or something, and then like find out where the where the cult is. Anyways,
boy.
it says here, God, I'm so over this. I'm sure Leslie thinks we placed this one as well, showing that Tag PR, was not behind these things.
Mhm.
Okay. August 27th, Nathan further reassures Baldoni that everyone I speak to and so many just chats that don't even know I'm on this all are pro you. I know that's not your intention either to make her or anyone else an outcast, but the sentiment is pro you. Baldoni responds, thank you for sharing, and praying for Lively and Reynolds has been helpful. Okay. August 30th, the internet continues to churn out news stories. Baldoni asks Nathan how she feels and if she shares any concerns. Nathan reassures him that there was no truth to anything, so what can they say? Just speculative BS. I'm not worried, and I promise you. Okay. And then
Reasonable.
here in these texts, let's take a look at that. It says, no, it's fine. I'm going to stay all across for all messaging, but thank you for asking me. Justin says, how are you feeling about this? The truth hasn't come out yet. Seems to be getting more pickup now. Do you have any concerns or anything we should be worried about? I know that both my wife and I are both feeling like they could definitely be up to something over there. Melissa says, I'm not feeling any type of way. I think people are still looking because it became such a gigantic story, but there's absolutely nothing else they can do. They have missed every timing opportunity to do it. We also know there was no truth to anything, so what can they say? Just continue the speculative BS. Okay. And then he's saying, yeah, I just know her personality, and this is the kind of person that genuinely believes she's right, and that all of this is unjust. And I totally know that personality as well. Obviously, I don't know Blake Lively as a human being. I can only speculate based on what's in these documents, but I totally understand how hard it is to deal with somebody who thinks they're right all the time. And that's a really hard thing to deal with, especially if you're like trying to work with them in like a professional setting. So she fully does. I know it. So those people seek justice at any cost. That's why I have a hard time believing she's done, but trusting you and grateful for you. So like, and again, I agree with what he's saying here with working with that type of personality. Take Blake out of it and just think of like that personality, somebody who fits that personality profile. They do, they think they're right all the time. So they're going to do whatever they can to prove it, I guess, basically, or like assert their moral high ground over people and, whatever it takes, even if it blows up everything else. All right. Nathan reveals to Baldoni that she finally watched the film in theaters. She shares a touching message with Baldoni. He also shares a personal story that inspired him to direct the movie and ultimately option the book. Ironically, it was this story that Lively chose to use against him later in her list of 17 points, when she required that there be no discussions with Miss Lively of personal experiences with sex. In her complaint, she intentionally misrepresents the story to suggest that Baldoni had engaged in sexual conduct without consent. In fact, it was the other way around. Baldoni was referencing an intimate relationship in which he was the one who did not give consent, not the other way around. So basically what this is saying is like, he opened up to her, I guess, about his basically assault, it sounds like, but we'll read the text. It sounds like he opened up to her about his being assaulted or abused in some way or harassed in some way, and she used that against him. That's what I'm getting here, but let's read the text and find out, because I could be wrong about that. Okay. Let me make sure my head's not in the way. Yep, we're good. All right. This is from Melissa, I think. It says, I just watched the film. I finally got and it's blurry again, guys, but I'm going to do my best here. I finally got a something night out. And let me tell you, mom's night. Okay. Mom's night out. Let me tell you, I'm a hard nut to crack, and I was sobbing for a few minutes. I loved it. You're amazing in it. To be honest, so was she. Amazing, amazing. He says, oh, thank you, Melissa, means so much that you went to watch it despite all the drama. She says, it was better than I even expected. The way abuse was shown initially to the reality I've never seen in a film before, and I keep thinking about it. There needs to be a separate piece on that alone, as I was like, okay, that's an obvious mistake. Whereas the abuse, having a spokesperson, not you or anyone at Wayfair, explain the way that the abuse was shown is exactly how it feels and presents itself in so many cases is a good idea for a piece pre-streaming release. Why and how abuse can mask itself into ways that the abused doesn't often realize. And like, so I watched this movie, guys, and I agree with what she's saying right here. If you're somebody who's like been through this kind of situation and you've been in a relationship where you've like been abused, but you kind of like made excuses for it, or you were like, obviously this is a mistake. This person didn't mean to hurt me that way. Like, I totally get it, what she's saying. That makes sense to me. And it's sad because that movie could do a lot more good than it's done even. And I'm sure it's like been impactful in some ways for some people, but like I'm saying, like it could have done a lot more good if this kind of drama wasn't dragging it down. But I really do feel like what she's saying there is an accurate depiction of the story in the movie. And like, it totally got to me that way too, because I was like, wait a minute, are you sure that was on purpose? Even just like watching the movie, having been in situations like this before, I'm like, you sure that was intentional? That looks like it might really have been an accident. And then at the end of the movie, you see from the accurate perspective of like where you see like he actually did do that on purpose and stuff like that. I can't explain it without spoiling too much, so I won't go any further, but I don't know. I don't think the movie was terrible. I know a lot of people knock it, but I don't think it was terrible. It wasn't fantastic. Like there were some scenes, namely the one that Ryan apparently wrote with Blake, that I didn't love. But yeah, it wasn't bad. All right. Well, the reality is that's what happened to me, Justin says. That's why I designed it this way. When I was 20, I lost my virginity to my emotionally abusive girlfriend in a non-consensual way. And when I was 35, I started remembering. I struggled with the memories and not thinking it was what happened or thinking that it was my fault or that I wanted it. So I was trying to figure out how to make this movie work. That's how the memories came into being. That book did not have any of that. The book did not have that. Okay. Ironically, when I told that to Blake, that was one of the things that she put in her list against me. Oh, wow. Okay. I'm really sorry that happened to you. I grew up, and there's some redacted stuff here. As you get older, you realize different things at different times, so I understand your point. Okay. Aspects make sense to you, whereas before it might have been the norm or just, well, that was normal in those days, maybe. So in a lot of the, what does it say? So a lot of the time, I think I understood from that perspective, and I haven't seen it before put out that way. Usually films about violence or domestic abuse, they deal with it anyway that you can see or at least hear. Okay.
Yeah, and I think we're missing some context here because, for example, if I'm at work and somebody is telling me a story, like his story here, and I'm not interested in hearing it, then it makes sense why you would put it in this list of let's not do this anymore. On the other hand, if I was at work in a meeting and somebody was telling me a story and we were using that story to figure out how we were going to do this movie, and I was very receptive to hearing that story, I was consenting to hear that story at the time, and then somebody later says, let's not do that anymore, that would be sort of a 180, right? And I don't know which is the case here. They're seemingly arguing that it's the latter.
I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this right. Palaver Girl or Palaver Girl, but Palaver Girl, I think. I have no idea why, but today was a perfect day for algorithm to bring your channel to me. Thanks. Well, thank you for being here with us. I appreciate it, and I'm glad that the algorithm brought you here as well. Okay, where were we? I resonated a lot with the something on Netflix. It starts with an M. With the Maid? That's a different show, right? The Maid.
Where are you? Where's your mouse?
Over here on the right. The last text on the right side on the top row. It says, I resonated a lot with The Maid on Netflix. Fourth paragraph there. I don't know if you watched that. It was great, but you heard the violence, you knew it was happening. I've not seen it dealt with how you did it before. That's what I mean. I too could be still blinded, and I was like, abuse where? Then moved on to wow, and I cried, LOL. I can't believe that was a point against you. I just can't believe it. Either way, I want to explore this story nearer streaming time. It was really bloody clever what you did. Okay. And I didn't expect it. Thank you so much, and for sharing that. I'm sorry that happened to you too. Appreciate you so much. Would love that. If you watched the No More podcast, I did a talk about it. Okay. She says, I'm going to listen to it on the flight to Santa Fe tomorrow. Thank you. But that's why we raise our kids differently. Okay. And then he just sent the podcast. Any concerns about drama? Justin says, I see that the truth will not come out yet, but it will. Seems to be going around. She says, not one concern, honestly. I hope you guys are having a beautiful time away. Okay.
Mm.
September 8th, Baldoni sends a text to his original editors, hopeful that one day they will complete the film as intended. Okay. Justin says, if you think about it, we didn't even finish our director's cut because she intervened. So ideally, at some point, we can take a week and I'll just do it together for ourselves. But that opens up a can of worms. So we will need to let this play out for a while before we pull that card and your door will be knocked on. The amount of women who feel seen, that it's reaching people all over the world, that men are remembering their own traumas and having conversations with their partners. That's why we did this and it worked. Still the dream team. Okay. December 20th, Lively files her complaint with the California Civil Rights Department. December 20th, Megan Twohy, a reporter for the New York Times, reaches out to Wayfair about allegations made by Lively related to a filed CRD complaint. Please offer any on-the-record comment, as well as any other information you think we should know. Additionally, please notify us of any inaccuracies. We need to hear back from you tomorrow by noon Eastern. Okay. And then here's just the email from Megan Twohy. It's saying, Ms. Abel, we are reporting about a crisis communication operation conducted on behalf of Justin Baldoni, Jamie Heath, and Wayfair Studios to protect their reputations and harm like Lively's, as described in a legal complaint filed today. Okay.
Oh boy.
Our reporting found that you participated in the effort, which was undertaken last summer out of concern that complaints Ms. Lively had made during the filming of It Ends With Us would become public during the movie's rollout. We have learned that Ms. Lively filed the legal complaint against you, Mr. Baldoni, Mr. Heath, Steve Sarowitz, Wayfair, Melissa Nathan, and Jed Wallace, that is a lot of people, alleging sexual harassment, retaliation, and aiding and abetting of harassment and retaliation, among other claims. The complaint claims misconduct on the part of Mr. Baldoni and Mr. Heath during filming, including repeatedly violating physical boundaries and making sexual and other inappropriate comments. Whew. The complaint includes a side letter to her contract signed by Mr. Heath, in which the studio agreed to install more safeguards during filming and agreed not to retaliate against Ms. Lively. She is now saying they violated the terms of the letter. Of course she is. All right. The complaint includes extensive private text messages and emails that she obtained through a subpoena and that document the crisis communication operation. They include exchanges involving you, your team, Mr. Baldoni, and Mr. Heath. The New York Times reviewed these along with other documents. We are seeking your response to the claims of retaliation through this PR campaign, and we would welcome the opportunity to talk with you on the record. Please offer any on-the-record comment, as well as any other information you think we should know. Additionally, please notify us of any inaccuracies. We need to hear back from you tomorrow by noon Eastern. Among Ms. Lively's allegations, in May, several months after filming wrapped, Mr. Baldoni was worried when he realized that Ryan Reynolds had blocked him on Instagram.
Oh, no. Blocked on Instagram.
I mean, it's bad, I guess, when the optics are like so important, you know? We should have a plan for if she does the same when the movie comes out. Mr. Baldoni wrote you in a text message. Plans make me feel more at ease. I mean, that's really, honestly, that doesn't sound damning to me at all, because it's like, you should have a plan for people asking questions about, hey, your co-star blocked you. Like, you know. Okay, number 2, you were already working as a publicist for Mr. Baldoni and Wayfair. 3, Mr. Baldoni and Mr. Heath hired Melissa Nathan, a crisis communication specialist, who in turn brought in Mr. Wallace. The plan was to harm Ms. Lively's reputation. 4, Ms. Nathan shared a planning document in early August describing options to pursue if Ms. Lively or her team went public with complaints about Mr. Baldoni and Mr. Heath's behavior. She suggested talking points to use with reporters, including that Ms. Lively used an imbalance of power to take creative control of the film. Okay, 5, Mr. Baldoni wanted more. You wrote to Ms. Nathan, I think you guys need to be tough and show the strength of what you guys can do in these scenarios. He wants to feel like she can be buried. Ms. Nathan responded, of course, but you know, when we send over documents, we can't send over the work we will or could do, because that could get us in a lot of trouble. We can't write it down to him. We can't write, we will destroy her. So then why would they write that if that's true? Like, why would they write that? If they, because they literally wrote what they said and they can't write. That doesn't make sense. Okay. Imagine if a document saying
it depends. If you're talking to employees. So, for example, I've had more senior employees say, hey, we cannot say a certain sentence about a competitor in a PowerPoint presentation.
Right.
And of course, he's saying the thing we can't say, but he's instructing us not to put it in the documentation. He's not saying it
that whole
per
thing
se.
is just The whole thing's just
Even
gonna
if
be
someone thinks it's true.
right. Damn. All right.
Anyway.
Sarah Dawn, thank you for the 5. Thank you both for covering this. You're superstars. No, you're a superstar.
Indeed.
Thank you. Appreciate it. All right. Let's see. Imagine if a document saying all the things he wants ends up in the wrong hands. You know, we could bury anyone, she added, but I can't write that to him. 3 days later, Mr. Baldoni texted you flagging a social media thread that accused another celebrity of bullying behavior and that had generated 19 million views. Mr. Baldoni wrote, "This is what we would need." Is that the Hailey Bieber tie-in? Hang on.
Oh boy.
Let's see. There's a Hailey Bieber tie-in here somewhere, guys, but I don't have enough time to look deeper into it. But yes, it says Hailey Bieber has been dragged into Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni case. Here's what has happened.
Justin Bieber. Canada has entered the chat.
Yeah. All right. As part of his astroturfing strategy, and this article is from the day before Christmas Eve, so keep in mind this is not up to date. Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni used a social media post by Hailey Bieber as an example. So yeah, that's what we're talking about here. Using a screenshot of an X thread that detailed Hailey Bieber's history of bullying women, Baldoni wrote, "This is what we would need." Okay. So it's just an article about Hailey Bieber apparently being a bully, which whether or not you think that's true, that's subjective, I guess. But that is who they're talking about there. It's Hailey Bieber. So
Sure.
okay. Let's see. Ms. Nathan presented proposals to hire contractors to dominate social media through full social account takedowns by starting threads or theories and generally working to change narrative. You wrote to Ms. Nathan, "I think we need to put the social combat plan into motion," and she responded, "So do I." The team worked to block stories about Mr. Baldoni's behavior that had concerned Ms. Lively and reinforced negative ones about the actress. The press coverage probing Mr. Baldoni's separation from Ms. Lively and the rest of the cast was largely vague and didn't include the most serious allegations against Mr. Baldoni. Ms. Nathan texted you, "He doesn't realize how lucky he is right now. We need to press on him just how fucking lucky." The whispering in the ear, the sexual connotations like Jesus fucking Christ, other members feeling uncomfortable watching it. I mean, there is just so much. Ms. Nathan indicated that she succeeded in keeping allegations against you out of stories and wrote in one text that major news outlets were standing down an HR complaint. So I want to just recognize here that keeping allegations out of stories is not necessarily a damning thing, because those allegations, as we've seen in this, whole document, a lot of those were potentially untrue. So just keep that in mind. Even though they're untrue, you don't want that out into the universe because then people might think they're true. So that doesn't really mean as much as some people will interpret it as.
Yeah, it's hard to put the toothpaste back in the tube once it's
right. Yeah.
Squeezed out.
Okay. So you wrote to Miss Nathan, "So are we in the clear now? Did we survive?" And she responded, "We survived. All press is so overwhelming. We've confused people. So much mixed messaging. It's actually really funny if you think about it." So again, I just want to stress here that they were anticipating some kind of, blowback from Ryan and Blake from what we've seen in this, because of the way things went towards the end of the film, how they kind of took over, how she was threatening not to do press, how they didn't want him involved in like promotion and stuff like that. So it's not surprising that they were like in not even panic mode, but in like defense mode. That does not necessarily mean that he's guilty of anything. So I just want to point that out. So like, even though we're reading that in the messages, it does not necessarily mean this is an admission of guilt to something that we need to hide. It just means we don't want this mud slung at the client. So
right. I mean, everybody's going to have, sort of a defense, right? Like but that typically indicates that something's happening, right? Like the Green Bay Packers don't put the defense on the field unless the Minnesota Vikings put their offense on the field.
I don't know. Both our defense and offense are ass, so I don't really watch football.
Yeah. I mean, the point is, like, technically there's nothing wrong with a defense. Like, a lot of people are like, "Oh, why are you being defensive? Doesn't that indicate guilt?" No, it doesn't. It's just part of the process of figuring out what's going on.
It makes total sense if you're a team that has...
This is why they call it a thesis defense. There's nothing wrong with defense or in sports.
Unless your team is so bad you can't tell if the defense or offense is on the field.
Well, we're not going to talk about the
But it's
Okay, go ahead.
fine. We'll build them a new stadium anyways. Anyways, moving on,
boy.
guys. That was a little bit of my own drama there. Okay.
Gotta get you a sports therapist.
I really do. I can't go to any more games, not until it's watchable again. All right. The last time I went to one of their games, it was the playoff game a couple of years ago, and I haven't been since because I'm like, I know how this is going, and I don't want to see it in person. All right. You wrote to Ms. Nathan, so are we in the clear now? Did we survive? And she responded, we survived all press. Let's see. There are references in emails to social manipulation and proactive fan posting. Ms. Nathan sent you a comment from Mr. Wallace that we are crushing it on Reddit. The next day, one of her employees texted, we are also starting to see a shift on social due largely to Jed and his team's effort to shift the narrative. Ms. Nathan wrote to you, and socials are really ramping up. In his favor, she must be furious. It's actually sad because it just shows you have people really want to hate on women. Huh. When a TikTok sleuth, oh God, not a TikTok sleuth. Okay, when a TikTok sleuth started asking questions about Mr. Baldoni, you texted that we flagged to Jed and his team for more serious action on the social side. You wrote to Ms. Nathan, the narrative online is so freaking good and fans are still sticking up for Justin, and there literally has been no pickup of those 2 articles, which is actually shocking to me. But I see this as a total success, as does Justin. You did such amazing work. Ms. Nathan responded, narrative is crazy good. So did you. The majority of socials are so pro-Justin, and I don't even agree with half of them, LOL. Well, that could be just because people are saying outrageous stuff that didn't happen about Blake. You know what I mean? Like people just starting rumors online and stuff. That doesn't necessarily mean that they think he did something bad.
You wouldn't believe it. So I worked in the tech industry, which is pretty boring for the most part. But there are like websites that are doing, tech reviews or hardware reviews or things like this, right? Yeah. Or news or insider leaks and all this jazz. And I would read the comments section sometimes, and I would see things that were very wrong. Sometimes in the articles, not very often. Usually the articles got things right, but the comments section would get a lot of things wrong. And it just would. And sometimes it was like, well, the thing they said is good for me, like for the things I'm doing. But like, even if it's wrong, and you're like, what can you do? You can't go, I don't know. Like I wasn't authorized to do PR for my employer, right? So
should probably do it anyways.
There's a lot of, there's a lot of, I mean, I have actually talked to some of the people that did that just to make sure we're getting the right information that we need to. But, and I would talk to customers, of course, but like when things are new, like this movie's pretty new and there's a lot of press. I mean, there's just going to be so much chaos. It's just kind of chaotic.
Yeah.
And I think we're seeing that here. And so this was sent from the New York Times to Justin's camp to try and refute all these complaint claims. Is that how it started?
Appears so. Yeah. All right, let's see. On August 16th, when Ms. Nathan shared a Daily Mail article headlined, is Blake Lively set to be canceled? You responded, wow, you really outdid yourself with this piece. And that's what we saw above, where she was being sarcastic and they were making fun of how Blake's team was totally going to think that was their fault, that was put out there. And it was like taken out of context.
They took it out of the context of the conversation, right?
So, and then they showed that, I guess, to the New York Times without the context showing it was sarcasm. So that's apparently what happened here. The manipulated media coverage and online commentary became an unusually high percentage of Ms. Lively's online presence. She was branded tone deaf, difficult to work with, a bully, sales of her new hair, Caroline plummeted.
Well, what do they mean manipulated media coverage? I mean, all media coverage is.
Well,
manipulated? Like, I don't know.
They're alleging that Justin's team manipulated things to make it look bad for Blake, but it appears, if you look at Blake's actual strategy in promoting the film, which she excluded Justin from, it appears that she just was totally tone deaf, as people were claiming, about the domestic violence aspects.
I mean, I get it. It's just like, if you make a claim like the media coverage was manipulated, you need to back that claim up. I mean, come on.
Damn. All right. December 20th at 2:16 a.m., Wayfarer's rep responds to the journalist and unequivocally denied Lively's accusations. They said, it is shameful that Ms. Lively and her representatives would make such serious and categorically false accusations against Mr. Baldoni, Wayfarer, and its representatives as yet another desperate attempt to fix her negative reputation, which was garnered from her own remarks and actions during the campaign for the film. interviews and press activities that were observed publicly in real time and unedited, which allowed for the internet to generate their own views and opinions.
Wait, can you go back and see when they wanted the response? Was this before that?
It was like, yeah, okay, so this is December 20th at 2:16 a.m. when they sent that, and they wanted it at noon. I think it was noon. Hang on, let's see.
It's a big email.
We're reporting a crisis communication.
This is December 20th. Wait, this doesn't make sense.
This is all December 20th.
No, go back to the email header. It's in the email header.
December 20th at 6:46.
It was sent 6:46 p.m. December 20th. And then they say we need to hear back from you tomorrow.
I think
that would be
tomorrow
what,
by noon.
Saturday, December 21st by noon.
Right.
Let's
see.
And then go down. What was the response?
I'm trying to remember. The response was at 2 a.m. So it was 8 hours after that was sent and way before noon.
Sense. 2 a.m. But that's also December 20th. Wouldn't that be December 21st?
It should be, yes.
This is complicated.
Okay, yeah. So here it says at 10:11 a.m., almost 2 hours before the deadline given by Toei for plaintiff's response.
There we go.
The Times published the article entitled "We Can Bury Anyone Inside a Hollywood Smear Machine." Okay.
So wouldn't the above be 2 a.m. December 20th?
Yeah, I think that's just a mistake.
Oh no, 21st, because it's after midnight.
Right. I think it's just a mistake in the filing.
Okay, I'm just trying to make sure they actually responded before the deadline. That's all.
Yes, right? So it says here response to the journalist. So like and that wouldn't have come out of nowhere. So like this is a total response to this right here. So yeah, I think it's just a typo.
Yeah, and also that's like 2 a.m. on a Saturday, but they published the story on a Saturday.
Right.
Wow.
Let me make sure, double check. Hang on. Yeah. Okay, so so they sent that on Friday night, basically at 6 something. Yeah. And then this is Saturday morning, and then Saturday morning also they published that, despite getting that response. Okay. December 31st, so this is 10 days later, Baldoni and team file lawsuit against the New York Times. December 31st, Lively files lawsuit against Baldoni and team. January 7th, Lively attempts to serve Baldoni and team during the Los Angeles wildfires, going as far as to serve a member of Baldoni's team while they attempted to evacuate with their small child. So as far as the serving goes, don't you have to have a process server do that? And do you really have control over when the process server gets there? Like, how does that work?
I mean, to some extent, I think this is a little PR from the perspective of this document.
Right.
Saying, oh, they were serving us in the middle of a wildfire. Like, look, if a server is serving someone, like, even, I don't know. I mean, obviously, if a server is in danger, they're not going to serve someone. Like, I think this is a little bit of PR here.
Yeah, because I'm sitting here looking at this, and then also
the facts may be true. There may be the wildfires going on, and they may be getting served.
Well, also, guys, I was looking at those documents, and if you watched our stream yesterday covering the first part of this amended lawsuit, I said I was going to upload some of this stuff to my podcast website, which I haven't done yet because I have to finish setting that up. But one of the documents that I found, it was one of those requests for extension from Justin Baldoni's lead counsel, Brian Friedman, I think is his name. And apparently
Power attorney Brian Friedman.
Yeah. Apparently his house was burned down in the wildfires, which is what they wrote in this filing requesting for an extension. And they said, I mean, it's not a long filing. Let me pull it up really quick. So I'll show you guys how we do this again, just in case you didn't see it yesterday. Give me 1 second. I'll log into Pacer. I don't want to show anyone my password, so I'm going to, hold on. Oh, am I already logged in here? Case locator.
Yeah, I mean, people's lives are in danger and they're losing their homes, and that kind of makes who edited a movie kind of pale in comparison, for sure. But I don't know if it has anything substantive to do with this timeline in terms of, like, for example, if somebody was like, well, you know, I don't know, somebody couldn't be served because these fires were going on. Like, this would be an explanation of a timeline.
Right. 1 sec. There we go. All right. So here's Pacer.
Mhm.
And I have this saved already, so we're gonna go to save cases.
Cool.
I saw it uploaded in this lawsuit. They're combining the lawsuit, so I saw it uploaded in this lawsuit, but not the other one. So I'm going to docket report because I want to see everything that's on there.
We've got our own pacer now. Who needs Omar?
Me,
Just kidding, Omar.
I do.
Kidding, Omar. We need
need
you.
him.
We need
Yeah.
you.
All right, let's see. Where's the letter for the extension? Let's see. Motion for conference, not that one. The order for extension was ultimately granted, by the way. Let's see.
Sure.
I'm trying to figure out which one it was because I've already downloaded it, but I don't know which one it was. Hang on. I could just pull it up this way because I already have it downloaded. But that's how you access the docket and you see everything on it.
It's probably the middle one.
Middle one. Hang on. Give me one
I
second.
would think, right? Because he's trying to get an extension in response to this.
Let me go back and I could probably find it easier
But
this
anyway,
way.
do we need this or what's?
Oh, sorry. You guys can't see the tab I'm looking at because it opened another window. Give me one second.
No, we can't. I just see the list of the 3 cases here.
This is what I'm looking at right here. So I went to docket. You can go to history/documents as well.
We
So let me
can't
just
see all the text on the left because our heads are on top of it. But
give me one second. Let me move our heads. Oh, now you can.
yeah.
So
this
here's
is
all
fun.
the documents.
This
Okay,
is-
let's see.
Oh boy. This is like my 1995 HTML website.
Yeah.
It's good HTML here.
I think you can get it as a PDF, but I keep forgetting to hit that setting.
They need one of those animated GIFs that's like under construction with the guy digging the shovel. They need one of those that blinks.
Yeah.
Maybe the little cat that runs across the screen. That would be good.
You always have those cats on your freaking. So many cats on
Yes,
Bruce
cat.
History. Yeah.
Mhm.
I think this is it. Hang on. All right. Yeah, this is it. So we'll look at that really quick because it's just related to the fire stuff that they're bringing up, and it's kind of like, okay, is it really that dramatic, or are they being, a little realistic? Let me zoom in a little more so you guys can see this. Okay. January 22nd, and by the way, the judge right here says the motion for extension is granted, but Blake's counsel apparently did not want that motion granted, so let me just close these tabs really quick. Okay. Dear Judge Lehman, or is it Lyman? I'm not sure. We represent Wayfarer Studios in accordance with Rule ID. Is that how you say it? Rule 1D? I don't know. I'm used to reading Arizona law and Florida law. All right. Of your honor's individual practices in civil cases, the Wayfarer parties respectfully request an extension of time to respond to the complaint in the Lively case. No previous request for an extension of time has been made. Okay. Meanwhile, in the Wayfarer case, the Lively parties filed waivers of service pursuant to Federal Rule of Civil Procedure. We're just getting through this stuff. So during a January 21st telephone call, we attempted to confer in good faith with counsel for the Lively parties about an extension of time until March 20th, 2025. So that would be over a month from now. The same deadline that the Lively parties enjoy in the Wayfarer case for the Wayfarer parties to respond to the complaint in the Lively case. Specifically, we noted that such extension of time was appropriate because, one, the 2 cases are designated as related and likely will be consolidated, which they are, pursuant to Rule 42. And 2, the Wayfarer party's lead counsel, Brian Friedman Esquire, lost his home in the recent Los Angeles wildfires and needed additional time to coordinate responses to the complaint in the Lively case. Yeah. In an email delivered earlier today, the Lively party's counsel refused to consent to an extension of time, contending that A, the cases are not yet consolidated, B, the Lively parties intend to move to dismiss the Wayfarer case, and C, counsel requested that the Wayfarer parties waive service, but no waiver was executed. All right.
Oh my.
Insensitively, the Lively parties ignored the effect of the Los Angeles wildfires on Mr. Friedman and his law office. In sum, the Lively parties falsely
well, they just want to move to dismiss. This sounds familiar. They need Rule 26. Oh.
All you have to do is stand outside the courthouse and shout, "Safe harbor!"
They need a safe harbor provision. Oh my goodness. Ah.
Yeah, right.
Thank you, Jeff.
All right. Jeff. Oh man. I finally got my Legal Vices shirt, by the way.
Nice.
Insensitively, the lively parties ignored the effect of the Los Angeles wildfires on Mr. Friedman and his law office. And some, the lively parties falsely engineered an extension of time until March 20th to respond to the complaint in the Wayfarer case, but now refuse to consent to the same deadline for the Wayfarer parties, even though doing so. Doing so is in the interest of justice and efficiency in cases that are not only related, but likely will be consolidated. For these reasons, the Wayfarer parties respectfully request an extension of time until March 20th to respond to the complaint in the lively case, which was granted. So, anyways, I didn't know if anybody had seen that yet, so I just wanted to go ahead and show you guys. Yeah, I just wanted to show you guys A, how to access it, and B, what it says. So, yeah.
Would you like to have a phone call?
All right.
Crazy.
Okay. So, let's see. January 7th, Lively attempts to serve Baldoni and team during the wildfires. January 16th, Baldoni and team file suit against Lively, Reynolds, Sloan, and Vision PR. January 24th, discovery is made that the main imagery used in the article has metadata creation timestamps days prior to publication. The main Baldoni image that headlines the article was finalized on December 16th. And this is the New York Times article.
Thank you, internet sleuthers.
Right. Additional smear Baldoni imagery existing within the article on December 18th. And then there's that right there. You can see where it says 12/18. And January 26th, it is determined that the promotional video for the Lively smear campaign article was finalized on December 12th. The video preload static imagery from promotion inside the article itself was created on December 17th. Okay. And then it shows like everything in there. So it says 12/17 right here where you can see it in the highlight. The schema for the video page also confirms a December 12th finalization and upload date. I'm going to have Brad come on here and explain this to us at some point.
HTML. Which part is confusing?
So all of it, this part, where it says, I
mean, it's just HTML tags.
That's not my language, my man. Leanne says I found the October metadata. Okay, cool.
Interesting. Yes, thank you.
Right.
Mr. Crazy says they said smear in here somewhere. Is that in a file name? Do you see that here?
I don't know, because I don't know if it's actual text. Different? Then I would be able to. Hang on.
Oh,
it'd be towards the bottom. Oh, okay.
Ooh,
so
look
that's
at this.
that's TM. That is New York Times. Down here, the source says
December 18th.
Smear Baldoni TQMZ, but that could also mean smear campaign by Baldoni, I guess. I don't know. So
yeah, who knows? That's interesting though.
Yeah. So this is all just like the source code stuff that people on the internet found.
Was the word smear in the title of the article by the New York Times?
Let's double check and make sure. Hold on, let me go up a couple pages because I think
there is the waging. So, I think it did say it.
Yeah, it did.
The waging of something.
Promotional video for the Lively smear campaign.
Yeah, I mean, it could be they're just the images are just getting tied to the article title name. But I mean, that is in the title. The waging of an alleged smear campaign against Blake Lively. HTML. Yeah.
Well, I just want to be clear, guys. I'm not an expert in HTML, obviously. So I might, at some point.
So it's in both, it's in these file names and in the article title, which is interesting.
And then there's the 12/12 date here. January 27th, the Wayfarer party has found 41 instances of an October 31st, 2024 timestamp related to text message storage and styling into BirdKit, which are believed to be the content management systems for the Times. Okay. 2024 10/31. So that's where October 31st comes into play. All right. On information and belief, the 10/31 does not correspond to the message embed generator versioning itself, but rather when they may have been embedded into the CMS for future use in an article. Okay. So basically they started this a long time before they put it out. Previous articles show a similar pattern. Okay.
And CMS is what? Their content management system? Is that what that stands for?
I think so, yeah. Okay. January 28th, it is confirmed that the PDF version of the CRD filed by Lively was indexed on New York Times domain on December 10th. This does not necessarily represent the first time that the file was indexed by Google, just that it was indexed on this date. In order to accurately determine the first indexation, data would be required from the New York Times Google Search Console account. Okay. NYT plus Baldoni there. What does that mean?
What?
I don't know what this means.
Where?
NYT.com plus Baldoni. That's just a search or like.
Yeah, so you can go to Google and just search random things, right? Like toaster oven or whatever. But you can also use quotation marks and other meta characters like pluses and minuses and wildcards like the star character in order to do more complicated searches, or only search within a particular site. So site star.New York Times is going to search for Baldoni and anything in that tree.
Okay.
And it's going to ignore like, whoever else, Yahoo News or something.
Gotcha. Okay. Let's see. And then we have here December 10th. It says Lively brings this action to hold Wayfair and those leaders. So that's just the article. December 10th, again, it's pointing there. January 29th, after performing a deeper analysis, the following was found. The JSON schema exposes the smear promo imagery was set for consumption at the end webpage level on December 18th, 2024. In the highlighted images, there is a reference to smear promo Google, which means that object's imagery was intended to be consumed most likely as either Google News direct feed or as a Google AdWords ad unit. Okay. There are also multiple versions of these images. The V2 and V3 suggest they went through multiple iterations, before arriving at what could be used on December 18th. Okay.
Yeah. So when you have these markup languages, with the brackets, and then it's like, here's a link and here's what the link is. So the JSONs are just files, and you're going to put a particular sort of syntax. It's like, French versus English or something. There's going to be a particular syntax they're talking about here. So that's the context.
Huh. Okay. Let's see. There's just more of that stuff there. Oh, that was it. Okay. I guess that's the end of that. So they're just showing the kind of metadata stuff that was pulled up and all that search engine stuff. All right. Well, it took us another 3 hours before we finished it.
I need food. I'm going to die.
Yeah, me too. I was supposed to make dinner for my dad. I've been texting him. I was like, Dad.
Just a few more minutes.
Dad, just eat leftovers.
My dog is sitting here. He's like, where's my food?
Yeah, no. We compromised. He's going to eat leftovers from what I made last night, and then tomorrow night I'll go make new stuff for him. So, but I do have to make dinner for myself because I'm not going all the way over there tonight. So, even though their house is close to mine. So, anyways, guys, thank you for sitting with us and listening to us read this. If you weren't here yesterday and you want to hear part 1, I put the link in the description of this video. But I will warn you again, like I said, it was 3 hours, so that's a lot of listening to us talk. Bravo, guys, 3 hours. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. We definitely got through more pages in the same amount of time. But then again, yesterday, I guess I read through the articles explaining the changes in the body of the lawsuit. So that too. All right.
I think some of this was a rehash, or the information per page was a little less dense at the end here.
Yeah. Well, the photos that took up a lot of space helped.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time. Bye. Don't forget to hit the like button.